Well, Chief, I didn't get out of here for lunch. Manana. Parking lot, 10 to 8 tomorrow. Is that what time we start tomorrow? 8? 8 o'clock? Where are we? We do some wastewater or solid waste? We're solid waste, right? She's directing traffic.
Okay, we ready? We're going to start on solid waste. Okay, we're back from a little short lunch break. Thank you, everybody. So we will continue on now with solid waste.
Hello, Mayor and councilors. This year, about the only thing we're really doing, of course, we do it every year, we're doing dumpsters and everything. We're asking for another semi-truck and trailer. And there's a chance that it won't be available again. So we would ask that if we don't get the semi-truck, that we could turn around and just get a grapple truck. Dick had put in for some grants for some grapple trucks, but we ain't getting them. So anyhow, we'll ask that if the semi don't happen, if they're not available again, that we can just turn right around and do it on a grapple truck.
Can you get a grapple truck?
Well, hopefully,
So
one that's already,
transport truck to haul the stuff to Rio Grande?
yes, sir. Yeah, I would like to move the 99 KW and the 99 Wilkins trailer back and replace that. Move it back for a spare. Even though the stuff is new, the stuff that you have, this DEF, anybody that got diesels know, you're still gonna have problems. So it's nice to keep them as spares. That's,
Where is that at? I'm not seeing it.
So if you go out the capital outlay sheet,
Last sheet.
this is the colorful one. It's on page 2 of it. It's, the last section. It starts out with dumpsters. Right there.
Yeah.
Blue?
That second, the blue one, and it says dumpsters.
Oh, okay.
That's where he's talking.
50,000 And truck, okay, 220.
And then the semi-truck,
Truck and trailer.
that's the one he's talking about.
So we've got all the grapple trucks running?
right now, I had one down this morning, but I got a mechanic over there.
If I may, what is it that, is it the truck or is it the grapple part of it that goes down, or is it just in and
Both.
on? Both. Okay.
You're losing cylinders, you're losing hoses, you're losing, and then engines, PTOs, pumps.
And do those, like an ambulance back in the day, they'd make where that box could come off and you could slide a new chassis underneath it? Can you do that with your?
We did one in 2002. I took one to Florida and had a new grapple put on it, on an old truck. It was an old truck with a new engine. In 2000, around the early 2000s, 3 or 4, we had one turnover and insurance. And me and a guy took that one to Florida and had a new one put on it.
So it's not really though a normal practice?
It's not. They have to make that. So the grapple part that picks up, that sits behind the cab, all of that, the boom and all that is pretty much the same. But the part that mounts to that truck or that truck, that has to be made for the truck. So they have to make the bottom part to match the top part that bolts to the frame. Like our frames, some of them are what we call double lined. We get double lined. The Internationals we used to have back in the day, they cracked the frames. We fish plate them back, but now you better not do that.
Well, do you think 3 grapple trucks is enough?
You're doing 5, aren't you?
4.
Oh, 4. I thought we only, so we have 4 grapple trucks.
And they run. how many
But I
days a
don't
week?
have drivers for them.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Right now, we got drivers. So you guys are gonna ask me about my probably adding all that money. We've been paying a lot of money to have, a contractor come in and help us do grapple.
And you spent $30,000, so what did you want to say to Councilor Coughlin?
Oh, yeah, since all of this has happened, I've spent over $30,000 having a mechanic in there. So you owe me 10%. It
We're
takes two
shouldered,
hands
though.
to pick up a cylinder.
Kind of hard to do this.
That's okay. With what I've already saved the other departments, I still have plenty of money to share.
I
Oh my gosh,
appreciate you.
and hold your feet up. That's all I gotta say.
We do have a contractor helping us out, though.
Yeah.
Because we got the guys off of Grapple running trash, which brings us around to our next thing, is why we're asking for another driver, more than what we've ever had. We've got one getting ready to retire at the end of this year. So we'd like to get them in and get them trained, and hopefully now that the pay's gone up, we can get somebody in. And by the time he's retired, we need a new one, another one anyhow. Just for the situations when somebody's gone, we've had people out on medical leave. Charlie had to get a new knee, and he was grapple. And we had a trash truck driver come for a couple months and then leave us. So now we're pulling off a grapple to put on, because those routes have to be run.
The
Yeah.
only reason I say that is because, you know, Dick, his group, they send out all those letters.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of thinning out there.
And then, you know, up where I live, boy, there's a lot of, wood on, piles on
Pine
the
needles.
road, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
When do you anticipate that person leaving?
Jerome, he can retire after Christmas,
After Christmas? Okay, so it'll be in next,
and he plans to.
okay.
And
As soon
you,
as he can.
how much time do you have?
Not much.
I know it's in,
And like I said, y'all need to probably start praying, because there ain't nobody gonna come
behind
up.
you.
So there's no succession, nobody wants
Yes,
to.
Robin does it. She'll need help in the shop, but other than that, she can pretty well take care of stuff.
Yeah,
She need help on that side, other side too. But other than that, this stuff with Dick and everything, her and Dick talk constantly, and she knows pretty much what needs to happen.
she can't pick up the tools and.
No,
yeah.
she need help on all of that and getting parts and stuff for the trucks. But other than that, there's a lot of people that want to do it, but they have to show up.
Yeah, they gotta show up for the interview, huh, first?
Do you have trouble with your guys coming in?
What I have trouble with is some of the ones that are hurt and getting old, you know?
Yeah, I do know
And
that.
they're having to go get shots. They're having to, you know, like Charlie finally just went and got his knee fixed. But we have a guy that he has to get shots in his back. He has to, you know, they can't put up with too much pain without.
Yeah.
That's kind of the problem.
Well, it's a physical job too.
Y'all was talking about uniforms, I know, a while ago. We're on an RFQ that me and Billy did back when Billy was in purchasing. And I still run off of that, and it's good until I I write a letter and say it's not. And that's kind of a PPE for our people, for the uniforms, having.
Is that American or who is it?
Ours is Americans. And I didn't sign a contract. They did. That's the way me and Billy wrote it,
Okay.
that RFQ.
Okay.
So we've got to decide, so you're asking, of course, your dumpsters, but your truck port and then your semi-trailer,
Those walking floor trailers,
okay.
which are high maintenance.
Judy, did you include those in your calculations?
Currently, what's included in this budget is the additional position and then all the capital outlay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So Jerry, what's the status on your new trash truck that you're gonna,
Supposed to be here the end of April.
end of April? Oh, okay.
Any day.
I didn't order that one special, you know, so we bought it. It was, somebody had gonna buy it and then didn't.
Oh, okay.
So a friend of mine let me in on it and we got it. It won't have the power and all the stuff that we have, but it will do its job. And that's what we need right now.
Yeah.
It's a
Trash
dumpster?
truck,
Trash truck?
Peterbilt.
Okay.
That's the Chevy and GMC of the trash truck world. Anything else stand out to y'all?
Shop tools? You went up 2.5 times on shop tools?
We went up last year, so before Karen left, we used 52,105 for everything.
Okay.
That's all we ever used. She came and wanted us to start using all these other line items so we could better track stuff, which we had never done since the early days. So we had to start putting money last year in shop tools, 510, 15, 52, 105. I used that, but we had to start using 52, 103. Safety equipment, we had to start, well, this year we've had to do a couple of BCRs because we just stuck some in there last year. This year, we know more of what we need, so we've stuck a little bit more in each one. Plus the parts has gone up and stuff. And I plan on buying some more cylinders and stuff. The cylinders, like packing cylinders I bought years ago was $8,000. Now they're over 18,000. It takes too long to get them. And, I plan on, taking my checkbook from Judy and getting more stock. Because it's just takes too long to get stuff. I wanna stock another whole grapple, assembly and everything.
Yeah.
I have one, and I wanna start stocking more stuff. I really think that's the way we need to go.
And you, if anyone wants to hasn't been to the solid waste to see Jerry, the way he has his shop set up, where he has his inventory, it's amazing. When they did the inspection for the New Mexico Self-Insurance Fund, they said, boy, he has a very quality and very organized, where Jerry keeps all his parts and all his shop areas, so.
So in the succession plan of conversation, where do we look for somebody that has this type of experience?
For mechanic or?
Well, like
driver?
what you're doing. For you.
Foreman, mechanic,
Oh, my gosh. Somebody that's been in trash since the 80s.
Well, they don't make those anymore. Those guys are leaving.
Somebody that enjoys that. You know, you might try some of them, some more people from Waste Management. Some people that come out of Rio Rancho and stuff, because there's still a lot of Waste Management around there. Some of them kind of people that come over and want to be here in the mountains and stuff. Might excite people from
We'll have to
Albuquerque.
get busy
We'll have
on
to
that.
do yes, we'll have to, somebody with the knowledge and has the experience of having to, can operate a solid waste department.
When can you retire, Jerry?
2025,
Okay.
but it might be, my son wants me to come and help him out, so I might have to go to his shop. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna put in my time.
Is he here?
He's in Midland.
Midland?
Yeah, well, maybe we could hire him to come up here,
He
be with Dad.
owns 5 semis in his own shop.
Oh, okay.
He's, God's been good to him.
Well, good. I'm glad. Well, that's gonna be something.
Okay.
to look at.
Yeah, Real Rancho, Albuquerque, you might go hunting over there. People that wanna move to the mountains.
Okay. You start looking pretty quick. All right, so I guess we're good. We've already got it in the budget.
Yeah, that's good. I'm
This is
glad.
capital outlay, so. What's it gonna take to get one of those in? How much time? I mean, you said semi, you don't even know if
If
you
you
can
guys
get.
approve it, I'll start making calls, and see where we're at.
Okay.
There might be a chance that there's a walking floor trailer sitting. And there might be a chance that there's a semi close enough that can do what we want it to do. But I have not made any calls or nothing. As soon as you guys approve it,
Okay.
I'll get right on the phone.
Where are we in our study for our
They're almost
taking
done.
stuff? What do we
Rate
call it?
analysis.
Convenience center?
Yes.
The what?
Our rate
The convenience
analysis.
center?
Oh, yeah.
Convenience center.
It's almost completed, the rate analysis. They've got a lot in there about that.
So that's in with the rate analysis that we just
yeah.
saw that's all connected.
Yeah, they had waste,
Yeah, I do remember
solid
that.
waste.
But
water.
I thought we had something going on to figure out where a shop could be.
Well, we already know that's out there at the
Yes.
building that we just purchased.
On Close Street.
Yes.
Yeah, they took my check.
But he's gonna get electrical and a shower and all that stuff put in, then we were looking at building it up there.
Down below there from that building where it
How
drops
long
down.
is that gonna take us to work on that?
Y'all might want to get that rate analysis back, because
Oh, it's ugly.
it's gonna be
Oh, I
a
know,
lot of money.
I've already seen it.
Grapple, roll-offs and roll-off trucks and concrete and getting people to build the, the part that drops down into the roll-offs and all that. That's gonna cost some money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Judy, under the revenues, where do we put money that we get from the county?
Oh, is that the rebate?
No, that's the, are we still doing that where, the county's contracted with,
We get, when they dump in our transfer
Yeah,
station,
yeah.
we get money from that.
right? Where does that show up in the budget?
I don't know, that 20,
The county pays us?
yeah.
I haven't seen a payment from the county.
they
The only,
do.
the only one I see is at the end
That's-
of the year is the
I'm
rebate.
sorry, that's not the county, that's Sierra Contracting.
Is it Sierra that pays us?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, yeah, Sierra Contracting.
Is supposed to be paying us?
they do.
Sierra Contracting?
Robin bills them.
Then it would go,
Robin Parks, not my Robin, but Robin Parks bills them.
it probably would go into the sales services cash receipts, 437. On the revenue side, the last, it's 522-000-437.
Okay,
It probably goes in there.
can we check on that? Mm-hmm. Okay,
And it's from Sierra Contracting.
Sierra Contracting.
I
Yeah,
think Robin's listening. Maybe she's not.
Yeah, because they pick up the trash for the county and then bring it, dump it with us, and then we take it to the landfill.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good revenue.
yeah. Yes, the money through the landfill, I don't know if we've seen anything. I know that, I saw something about they're
I
getting
know
ready
you and
for
I
another
talked
meeting.
about how messed up that is.
Yeah, they're, who knows?
I don't see it on the revenue.
I tell you what, though, they treat us better than any of the other ones. If our trucks get, stuck or anything up there, they get us out.
At the landfill.
landfill.
No, service at the landfill is great. It's just our intermediary in between.
The city of Alamogordo, I think they're changing some people around over there too. Have
I don't
you heard
know.
anything about that?
Any of the meetings that I've ever been at, there's one person who has proxy for like 6 people, which is ridiculous.
Is that a little conflict of interest?
On the refuse removal, solid waste fees, yard waste fees, whatever, you don't think that amounts in there, the green tree?
It probably is, I just don't know which particular account, that's why I have a text into Robin,
Yeah.
because I don't think she's currently listening.
If it is blended into the solid waste fees, then we probably should break it out. Just because I know that's a separate contract that Jerry has that left over from Jeff, where
it's all right.
they pay us and then we take it and we dump, so that increases our dump fees, but then we get paid for it, so.
Yeah, we hired a consultant to do that.
Yeah.
So it costs us 1.9 million for our solid waste fees to get rid of that stuff.
That's that's the revenue we're bringing in off of
Got it,
our water bill and,
got it,
It cost us $450,000 though.
okay.
yeah. We bring that in, and then that's what I was wondering if
Charges
that's,
for
if that
services,
green
got it.
tree's in there.
Yes,
Or in the yard waste fee,
That's their contracting to dump the brush and pine needles. Thanks to Dick, who gives us so much more work.
No, the yard waste fee, that would be on the water bill
yeah.
that we're getting off of that. And then recycling, that's that 90,000, that's off the bill too. So yeah, depending upon what that sales service cash receipts is,
that's not that much money.
90,000. No, that's not that much.
I know we gotta be charging them more than that.
Judge and I was talking at lunch, and,
Who?
Judge,
Oh, Potter?
Potter?
Judge Potter and I was talking, and he, he said he was in on a lot of that. Does anybody remember what the guy that was missing the eye, that was here back in the early 2000s, that worked here at City Hall? He was one of the engineers,
Huh,
planning and zoning.
boy, I don't. Bob Decker? He had both eyes,
No,
just half a brain.
I think it was Cletus, wasn't it? Cletus?
Oh, Cletus.
Cletus had two
Yes,
eyes, didn't he?
he did, but,
But it was messed up. He
Yes.
could look at her and you too.
Oh, yeah, it was tricky.
I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I mean, he could.
Well, he
Yeah, it
passed on
was.
since then.
Cletus Richards.
They-
He was with the Downs when I knew him.
Yes,
They
he
had been
was, he
in,
worked,
worked
yes,
together. We couldn't remember his name a while ago. I knew who he was talking about. But they said that, they had mapped out a lot of that back in his day, of where these dumpsters go and everything, starting to, and, you know, the county came and made us move a bunch of them. The state, not the county, but the state made us move a bunch of them. That's when problems started happening, you know, with people complaining about the dumpsters and what they were and everything. But he was in on a bunch of that.
I mean, yeah, because the old time I knew him, he was working for the Downs as a utility director.
yeah, Cletus was here,
Yeah, he was here when Alan Briley and a bunch,
yeah.
Them there.
we came. He helped a little on that transfer station.
Yep.
It was getting grant done, one more grant for it. Back then.
So it does go to that sales service
Towards
cash
receipt.
receipt.
That's not enough money.
Well,
90,000?
No, that's 100,000.
Proposing 100.
But that's in revenue from the green tree for bringing in all their debris and everything?
That's what we've billed so far.
That's from the county bringing in
That's for the county,
for the trash.
for the trash.
From Alto and everything?
Where do they pick it up?
yeah, they dump in our transfer station, the county.
And we're only
Which they
charging
have.
them $100,000?
Well, I don't know how the consultant came up with this or nothing that Jeff hired, but that's what, now the only thing that goes up is CPI.
Yeah, if we look back at the agreement, it was so much per ton. And it was based upon our tipping fees that we pay.
They don't
and then
even-
Plus a market.
They don't even dump every day. I mean, they knock a bunch of theirs out in a few days and then they're done.
How has their volume been? I know for a while there it was going up. And then
We're
it-
building houses out there right and left.
I'm sorry?
They're building houses out there right and left.
It might have to go up.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm shocked about is so we only bill them when they bring it to the station and we're counting it.
But, yeah, when Robin gets their sheet, that's how they get billed.
So I think Alto still has an agreement with Green Tree.
Where's that
So they
437?
pick up. But other areas of the county have an agreement with Sierra Contracting, but not all areas of the county.
Oh.
So there's pockets. of
Maybe,
what the
okay.
county's doing.
Alto just sent out a new brochure to the residents of Alto that they had to do thinning and whatever kind of mandatory like we do. But they charge them to put it in their dispository area. And what that's causing is a lot of the debris that they're creating, because it's so hard to get rid of it, and they charge them extra. We're seeing it dumped in the village.
Ah,
And so Jerry's having to take care of, there's two or three different places that I've tried to catch people, but I hadn't caught them yet. But
over
I know
by
that's what's
Station
happening, is that
2.
they're bringing it in from outside and dumping it.
Yeah, they're dumping it over there on Station 2 right and
oh,
left.
big time.
Oh, they dump it on, I saw somebody unloading a trailer on,
There's a dumping
Paradise Canyon
spot out
yesterday.
here on Hull Road. And I think there's gonna be more of them that if they, for some reason, if they get credit for it if they take the Sierra Contracting, but they've gotta take the landowner with them to verify that that's their piece of property before Sierra will contract them and let them dump there. So, I don't know, there's several things going on that are making them dump more in the village so that we take care of it.
Well, and then if they charge the landowner, oh, I gotta charge you a disposal fee. And then they pull over on Hull
Exactly.
or at Fire Station 2 or wherever, well, now that's plus money.
Sounds like it's worth getting some cameras like they do for the county.
they're just sporadic wherever they dump though. It's not always in the same spot.
Get several cameras.
Because we got that one over by the fire station that they're dumping at all the time. And I've seen people dumping, so that's illegal to dump?
If they're
It's
not
not
a-
illegal to dump there, but it's illegal to bring it from outside
If they're not a
if they're
resident,
not a resident.
or if you're a contractor and you've charged someone to do it within the village or even outside the village.
So next time you see a big trailer there, with 4 or 5 guys out there with the uniforms on, we need to stop and find out who they are.
No, it's not people with uniforms.
Well, no, I've seen them out there.
Well,
A bunch.
yeah, but what I see is some guy has the back of his pickup truck loaded up, or some guy towing a trailer all by himself, just shoveling that stuff out. I find trash in the dumpsters at Horton and pull up boxes and stuff, look at the addresses from somewhere outside the village. People are bringing their trash into the village.
Yes.
Dumping it into a trash can, dumping the green waste, and it's like, how do you control that?
I have that happen on Alpine Village, ours is
Oh,
the first
yes.
dumpster coming in from the county, so that's the first one they see, and there's times they just put it on the side of the dumpster because they overflow it.
Yeah.
We had one of our guys, a couple of our guys, a couple times, kind of wrecked some of them guys over the coals for doing that. Then they called City Hall and complained that our guys are being rude and being mean to them and everything, and didn't treat them with respect. Oh,
Well, we don't do anything about it.
It's just a matter of just checking if
Well, maybe what we need to do is figure out how to impose more of a dumping, a pickup fee and everything to the people that we service in the that Green Tree services in the county. Pass it along. They always tell me that's what they tell me at Alto, I got 100 problems, but money ain't one.
That's because we're fitting the bill.
I mean, I don't know why we don't. Anything Green Tree related that comes in from the county, we need to start having some sort of a tax on it.
If you can identify it.
Yeah,
it's coming
that's
in from
just the
county.
whole-
No, a Green Tree. They're bringing it in, it's an additional fee on top of what that we already charge them to try to offset some of those.
So it's
'Cause
not, it's not Green Tree that's bringing us stuff.
It's Green Tree that's bringing it in from Alto, that's
No.
what they just said.
No, it's
No,
Sierra
not Green
Contracting.
Tree.
Oh, Sierra which is it?
Sierra Contracting is.
County's
bringing
what I said, was told first, so
So-
this was told Green Tree.
The county
Yeah.
separated out from Green Tree. The county decided they're gonna get into their own solid waste. The county contracted with Sierra Contracting. So Sierra Contracting goes out, picks it up, and they worked a deal with us to bring it, dump it off at the transfer station, the trash. And then we bill them and we haul it down to Oro Grande since we're already going that way. It saves them having to drive their truck all the way down there. It's strictly about solid waste. It's not about yard waste. It's not about green stuff.
Well, we need to figure out how to charge them.
The green waste is illegally dumped,
Yeah.
that people come in from all around Alto and everything.
Well, we're gonna have to figure a way to kick it back to the people in the county. Just like they do on property tax, we need to figure out an overreach system.
And part of it is you've got all these people that are advertising on Facebook that, yeah, I'll clean up your pine needles, I'll do this. They don't have a business license.
Well, and the ones that are doing it on my street, I pull over and ask them, the homeowner or the property owner, we call them, did you pay them to dispose of it? And they said, yes. So that's when I tell the guys, you need to load this crap up and you haul it to the dump.
That's the next thing.
And then I take a picture of their license plates.
We get a lot of those that actually do that, just like the mayor stated, is they get paid to haul it, and then they're piling it up next to a dumpster
Because
on
they
our
don't want
property.
to go.
No, they're not
haul
gonna
it to
pay the cost on it, so we're having to eat the cost.
No, we gotta be smarter to figure out how we're
So-
gonna get through this.
So these contractors that are coming into thin properties,
Sometimes they get paid to dispose of it.
For the most part, it's not the big ones. It's the little John's landscaping, you
Yeah.
know, whatever.
Trailer, half a trailer.
yeah.
There you go.
Okay, let's move on, but yeah, we gotta figure that out.
Dump it right here. They'll dump it right here.
Yeah, on the corner over there.
They
on-
go around those orange barricades and dump it, you know?
Maybe we should take some money out of street department and build a fence.
Let's take it out of the police department. They got plenty of funding.
Yeah, if the police department would enforce it, then we wouldn't have a problem, so.
Yeah. But I think that we get some cameras and stick at the usual spots.
We have some cameras.
It's ticket them real big. We know somebody that the homeowner told him he could drop it off out there at that county spot, you know, right as you're coming up Angus Hill. They got him a big old nice glossy of him on there and they sent him a ticket,
Oh, wow.
big time. So you do a few of those and he told everybody he knew not to do that anymore.
Well, I guess you'd have to, if you got a license plate on the camera, you'd have to have the police to, run it to see if they were in the county or city or something else.
But then who's the driver of it? Because there's a whole lot of.
I loaned my vehicle to Billy Bob.
You would have to position the camera in a fashion that you can actually identify the person that's dumping it out.
Oh,
But we can do that. We have done that in the past, so. If you have an issue at some of those locations, let us know, and I'll get Bob to put the camera up.
Bobby works good with us.
Yep.
He really does good with us.
Because, I mean, this is unbelievable, because I've been seeing those piles over there, and the guy in that same black truck that has a lift on it, and he just drives out, and it just dumps it all out there. And then a couple of guys get up in the back, and they got shirts on, uniform, and they're just cleaning it out. You know?
That'd be nice to know if, sometimes if Dick hires them, Dick will call them and see if.
Well, that's what I just didn't know if that was so it's legal for them to dump there, it's just, we need to have somebody start pulling over, and I guess we need to have the police when they're driving by there, because I've gone by there and I see our police officer sitting over there by the fire station, where we had the millings pile.
Yeah.
He's sitting there and they're dumping, and I went back around that one time and asked them, and they lived up the street there and were bringing it down.
Bobby and crew monitor that some, they pull over. I pulled over 2 or 3 times. The last time I pulled over, there was a guy with a trailer pulling there, and he was actually from that trailer park that was right next, that had some trees blow over. I thought I caught me somebody, but I didn't.
Dadgummit.
Okay, so, any other questions?
Nope.
Good job.
I appreciate y'all.
Well, thank you. How much longer do you got before you get that off?
I got my hard cast off Friday and I started my therapy Friday. They're actually gonna put something else on there. I'm not sure what, but I have to go Wednesday and check that out. I don't know why. They're already saying I'm moving good and everything.
Well, it wasn't your rotator cuff?
Uh-uh.
Oh, I thought it was.
98% detached, the tendon.
The biceps, this one? That counts.
I put up with it.
I know. It's amazing what nature can do.
They don't see how I was even moving my arm. I guess you probably know more about that than I do.
Well, not a lot, but all those parts work well when they work.
Those that they say have been dead for quite a while, that probably even maybe 20 years ago, how do they tell all that stuff?
How much it's retracted in scar tissue.
You know, they had to go down there and pick them back up.
Pick it out.
And drill another hole and pull them back up through the bone.
Something do you recall when you hurt it real bad?
Oh, my goodness.
How many times, huh? Because that's
This
usually,
last go around was probably the worst one, and I was at home coming off of a trailer, and I lost coming off a truck onto a trailer, and I lost my balance and grabbed onto the headache rack. And just swung around so I wouldn't fall on down, which I should have just fell. And that hurt pretty bad. But a few days later, I was back to using it again, and it was okay. I mean, and I've had that happen a few times.
yeah.
It just hurts like a thumb to go right there in that joint. But, I'd wrap it and after a while, I'd just go on again. I live on ibuprofen anyhow.
You'll be amazed at how much strength you'll have in that arm.
Pure ibuprofen.
They say that even the bad ones, they think they came back with their last MRI.
Yep.
So what did they get, blood? And he don't explain nothing.
That costs extra.
Surgery's over, the revenue's gone, so
Good night.
so Mayor,
Holy smokes.
that's it. So Mayor Jerry asked if he could continue wearing a shirt with one long sleeve and one short sleeve when he.
Well, I don't know if we have it in the uniform budget. Sounds like we're selling it. May start a new trend.
Well, I believe that we actually owe Jerry some money.
Oh, from him saving us money?
No, the village owes him some money because he's doing double duty. Look at him, he's sitting here and he's also up on the screen. Jerry Parsons up there.
Dick's the same way, though.
Yeah. Dick too. Man, talk about employees of the month right there.
The key area of this now truly is your physical therapist. You have to get real religious about that. But
I'm doing it every Friday. Sometimes it may have to be on Thursday, but anyhow, I'm doing it once a week.
right.
I spent the money. I had to come up with a bunch of money right quick, even with insurance,
Oh,
which I don't understand, but anyhow, I spent the money, so I'm doing what they do.
well, no, and you want surgeons like good outcomes and patients like to have good outcomes too. And it's a partnership, but they do a tremendous amount of work to get full function back and strength.
Yeah, they worked me pretty hard Friday.
Well, you may be able to bowl with that arm once, even if you didn't before.
The bad thing is they want to check this one out as soon as this one's done.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, yes. Listen, there's an old saying in medicine, if you give a man nails, he'll find a hammer.
We kind of live pretty kind of rowdy.
Yeah, well, yeah. It would be rare to have a unilateral injury, but.
Well, are you turning in those extra receipts to our insurance folks for them to run that down?
I'm on my wife's insurance.
Oh,
I use hers, but the thing is after they finally, you know, I didn't go in there crying and weaning, so they didn't make no big deal out of it until I finally did the MRI. And then they call and want me in surgery the next day. So I go up there and they want almost $2,000 before they'll even touch you. Well, they told me, you know, come and get it done. You gotta get it done now. And, anyhow, so, you know, you have to come up with that. And then you keep getting bills, everything's itemized.
Oh, yeah.
Then, I mean, I don't even seen half of them guys when they put me to sleep. You gotta pay the,
The anesthetologist gets a bill, I get a bill out of California. He works for a company that, out of California, that does
you
his
know,
bill.
years ago I had a cast on this hand and I wore it a week and I cut it off. And it's, you know, it's got a knot there, but it works. And I, he said that them won't heal themselves. They have,
No,
bone will.
yes,
You have to pull them back up.
yes.
And now they're gonna stretch back into shape.
Oh, yeah. Well, nature will provide, but you have to work with it. And I wouldn't be cutting anything off of that for right now.
No, I spent money on that.
Hey, just be glad we're talking about your arm and not a proctology procedure.
Or worse.
Thanks for sharing.
Urology.
Or urology.
God
Doc Coughlin could give you some amens there.
I'll tell you, the one thing though, Jerry, is once you've hit your out-of-pocket, go get every medical checkup you can, because it's all free after that.
Yeah, that's what my wife is saying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're
you've
going
met your
up
minimum.
to 3,500, and that knee that I was supposed to have done in 1982.
I'd be looking.
Yeah.
Well, is it on the same
I was
side
gonna
as
get
your arm?
mad, you know, if I'm done.
Is it on the same side as your arm? Oh, that's gonna take a great picture. You're gonna have to support the arm you just had surgerized with the leg you're just getting surgerized with a crutch, so I wanna see that.
Well, they wanna do a nerve study here.
Well, yeah, because they wanna see if there's any damage. But it's more than that. They do a nerve conduction velocity and they do what we call an EMG, electromyography. They wanna see how all that electrical and muscle thing is tied together.
Like climb up to sensors and then give.
Yeah, little shock treatments, and then they do a recording. It's not bad, I mean, it's not like a light socket, but they take recordings of it.
Remember
and
those
they make assessments.
experiments with the frog in high school?
Oh, yeah, well, it wasn't quite like that.
Yeah, you can save money, just go to the high school science class and,
But Jerry, you have until the end of June.
yeah.
Then our health insurance starts over July 1, so that's why I've been going to the doctor and
But
getting all these.
he's on his wife's insurance.
Oh, you're on your wife's, okay, never mind.
That's why they came up with a heavy deductible.
Yeah.
Probably calendar year.
Yeah,
Ours isn't calendar year?
Ours is fiscal year. Nope.
That sucks.
That's why I had my colonoscopy, that's why I had this, that, and that. Yeah, I'm getting everything.
that was my wife's best doctor.
Well, thank you for that.
Loved her.
Okay, let's move on.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank
See
you
you, Jerry.
Jerry,
for the entertainment.
Yeah, it's lunch and a show.
All right. Yes, sir, Dick.
Okay, my budget is pretty much the funding of the program that I presented during the planning process. The highlights of it are that we're asking for $3,000 worth of overtime salaries, and that's due to us doing away with comp time, and we're actually having 2 pickups rigged with snow plows so that our guys can help out during the snow removal. And we're actually getting the snow plows this year, so they'll be ready to go next year. The other thing is the contractual services. We had 130,000 last year, and we're getting 130,000, or we're asking for 130,000 this year. And that's for trying to keep up with the thinning on the village properties. The main targets for this next year will be the area around Alto Lake. And that area presents a little bit of a problem because whenever they put the walking trail around there, they took out the culverts and the road system up there. And so I'm trying to figure out the best way to get it done And it may be asking for culvert put back in there temporarily at least.
Alto Lakes. So that's in the village,
Yeah,
I mean, just around the lake thinning.
yeah, actually down the creek where they're working on the well now. We have 160 acres down there.
Because
And
Dick,
that was actually, we thinned that right after I got here in about 2012, thereabouts.
I thought when we were building that trail, you had a small thinning project going on at that time, remember? The trucks went through there, that side gate.
Other than that, I asked for 25,000 in hazard trees. Last year I asked for 10,000, and we've actually spent nearly 40,000 this year on hazard trees.
All the wind and
The
everything.
wind plus the cost of everything with our contractors is going up some. And the wind and the bugs this year, for some reason, we're attacking big trees instead of little trees. So it's costing us $800,000 a tree to have them take it down, because most of them are dangerous trees that they wouldn't be called hazard trees, and they have to climb them and cut them bit by bit, and so they're kind of expensive.
Did your forestry, did you have to get it contracted to go cut that big tree on Mashburn Place, the one that was laying down? Did you see that one?
It was gone by the time I got over there.
Oh, okay.
We actually had a big snag cut in there that was next to an apricot tree. And,
Because it was
She's
leaning.
She's talking about the one that was blown up.
Okay, yeah, because it come up by the roots.
yes,
Yeah.
It was right
Yes.
near Wingfield.
Yeah.
Parallel to Wingfield, not too far.
we cleaned that up. And this year we've had several. We had one, it was just the last windstorm that we actually caught it, and it was leaning about like this. And we got the contractor to go up that afternoon, but it was leaning towards the house. It would probably been a tort claim for us. We wouldn't have paid it probably because they'd called it an act of God, but we were actually able to keep it from hitting the house.
Well, that's good.
But every windstorm, I think
Yep.
the windstorm last year weakened a bunch of the trees, and now
Yep.
whenever you open it up, if you have a bunch of trees blow over, then it exposes trees that are left to more wind for the next one comes through, and so it's been kind of a domino effect. Plus the bugs hitting the bigger trees, but that's the reason.
Well,
for
it
the
sounds like
increase.
these hazard trees need to be part of that mitigation dollar amount that we're clocking. Are we putting any of that funding money to that?
For the McBride,
Yeah.
we have on the initial costs, and we do, if we had some that were caused by that
Wind event.
wind event, and then we need to include that in our expenses, so. But we did with the initial,
Initial, we already did that.
yes.
And the wind event, a lot of that we turned in as FEMA charges or whatever.
Right.
But we didn't pay those out of our budget.
Okay.
I've just never seen so many trees that have been uprooted. That's just, to me, I've just never seen that. I've seen it a lot on TV, but I've never seen it in person.
But since last year we had the 100-mile-an-hour winds.
Right.
This year we've had several 80,
80
90 hour,
and 90,
and we've never
yeah.
had those kind of
I know.
winds before either.
No, you're right.
But I have been seeing a lot of dead trees from bugs lately. Yesterday, as I was driving around, it's like, oh, there's some dead, oh man, there's more. So there's quite a few of them.
Yeah. And, it's kind of nature's way of making correction, but when you have a dry spring and there's not enough water, the bugs are able to get into the tree and make their galleries and produce more bugs. And when they do, they kill the tree. And so the bark beetle we have now can make up to 5 generations a year. And so if you have the circumstances right, you just have a multiple effect that is not pretty, but it's another one like fire is nature's way of keeping things in contact the way they should be.
So some of those trees, they're not necessarily hazard trees because they're not going to fall and hit a house or whatever. And I know people can call and report the hazard trees to you. But just standing dead?
We allow in our ordinance standing dead if it's more than far enough away from the house to not hit the house.
Okay.
And a hazard tree, by definition, has to be imminently hitting a house or a roadway where it's dangerous or a power line. So everyone that's reported, we have to go out and check it and determine whether or not it is in fact a hazard tree.
Okay.
If it's on private property, then the private landowner is required.
Yeah.
And we only do the ones out of our budget on village property.
But if they're near a power line or near a road, and they're standing dead from bug kill, are they considered hazard?
If we think there's a chance that they can fall and hit something,
Okay.
that's the reason we have to go look at them to make an opinion of, as to whether it is a hazard or isn't a hazard.
Okay, got it.
And that's about all the highlights that my budget has in it this year. Well, there's one other thing I'd like to bring up to you.
Too late. You already said it. And you gotta speak careful there.
Is that a lot of the money we hear coming from Congress for thinning and those kind of things, they've actually got something they're called, and whenever you do a grant, you have to write to the criteria, and they actually score it. They give a numerical score to the grant. And you have to beat everybody else in order to get that. Well, they've started doing things like, right now they're calling underserved communities. And one thing that's hurting us as far as getting grants is that we don't have enough people in town in poverty to be an underserved community. And so we're not able to get those points. And so we've had a miss on several grants because of that criteria. So it seems like that everything coming from the feds is geared towards underserved community, poverty levels, and those kind of things. I guess the higher cost houses don't cost anything to replace and things, but that's just one of the things that's happening.
So one of the things I do when writing grants is I look at the percentage of children receiving free meals at the schools.
And that's over half.
No, it's 100%.
Oh, well,
Because the school has taken the local option, and now every kid going to a school in Ruidoso qualifies for a free meal. That helps
That
to
might
show
be a good
poverty
thing
levels. Yeah,
to put in there.
yeah.
I agree. I think that's a great point.
And I haven't gotten the grant scores back from the grapple trucks or for the cost share I applied for. When I get those back, I'll readjust my application and reapply, so it'll go back in sometime this year.
We're gonna do our part. We're gonna raise the utility rates. That way it'll give people less money, maybe more.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm just kidding, folks out there.
Sorry.
No, he ain't.
Any other questions?
Thanks, Dick.
If you have any extra, I'll take it.
We serve some of the same food.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know. Peer pressure. Frozen pizza, burgers and stuff like that.
Parks and Rec.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council.
Matthew, T-Bone.
All righty, so we'll start with, I believe in your packet, we actually 155 is first. And I gave y'all kind of a cheat sheet, this longer form, because in the packet, 155 was split partway through the year to 155, which is Parks, and 156, which went to Recreation. And now we're bringing it all back together.
Radio station comes first. Is that you?
Oh,
No.
no, you have to go, he has a
Yeah, I'm-
commitment,
Okay.
so we're moving to Parks and Rec,
Okay.
your Parks and Rec tab.
I don't think the radio station's gonna fall under me unless Ron
Hey,
has,
surprise.
Ron hasn't told me. Give it to me.
appear at any time.
Okay.
Have you ever watched the Parks and Rec show?
I love that show. It's partially true. There are parts of it,
That's a good.
but the cheat sheet I gave you just kind of Because on your 155, some of the total budget from last year, it actually shows.
They actually have swimming pool first?
Okay, they have swimming pool first? Yeah. Okay.
It's numerical.
It's in numerical order.
Well, we can skip over to that one then.
Do you have,
Hey, where are you starting at?
have it right here?
On your sheet you handed out, or what do we?
We'll start at 150 in swimming pools.
In your
Yeah.
binder.
I'll keep it in order there. So most things are gonna be staying the same. There's a few adjustments that's going to be, with chemicals. Chemical costs went up. We did, however, just install a new chemical feeder at the pool this year, and we're told it's 30% more efficient. So hopefully that will help alleviate that, but I do want to plan for, that chemical to go up.
Just to be clear, we're not doing all the new pumps and everything at the pool.
No, we'll move that to September. They kept telling me, yes, we'll get it, yes, we'll get it, yes, we'll get it, and then when I pressed them, I was like, are you absolutely sure? He's like, well, there's a possibility, and I said, if there's a possibility, no. Because I know what a possibility means, now that means, no, we're not gonna do it in contractor talk, we're not gonna make it, so, we're pushing it to September, for that. So, like I said, you'll see the increase in chemicals, there's a little bit decrease in utilities, things like that. Moving down to the next section, most of it's staying the same. There's a small increase in building maintenance, but, and a little bit less in or a little bit more in licensing and fees, but stays pretty much the same.
Okay.
You have any questions on any of the pool stuff? Pretty simple budget.
Do we have revenues anywhere
They would be in the finance section
in the finance section? Okay.
Finance sec,
for the revenues.
but not in Parks and Rec.
Because he's in the general fund, so if you
Oh,
look
okay.
at some other revenues.
So, do we have any kind of look, see, I don't remember what we're projecting, because you went out for RFP and you had one person
For
respond on the
concession.
concessions?
Yes. So I don't know exactly what those amounts were. I don't remember what they were last year. It should be close to the same. I believe the RFPs
We're
are the
getting a
same as
good
they've been.
contract with those folks,
Yes.
Who is it gonna be?
same ones, the only ones that put in.
Mayor, spoke to Matthew, and we're gonna be, adding some additional language in the
Yes.
contract. We'll have legal review prior.
So as part of that, are they gonna finish up the work that they started out at the house by
We're
the?
gonna have to work with them on that because that was never permitted. That work never was or approved to my knowledge
And that's
or
not,
anybody, still staff's knowledge. So we're
That
gonna have
looks
to,
good.
yeah.
that's
So we're gonna
not a
have to,
reason to terminate a contract?
well, they're the only
Well,
ones
we
that
got
bid on
nobody,
it.
they're the only ones that did it. What, are you gonna have, zero?
Yeah, that's why we went out to RFQ to get more bidders and
Yeah, we don't have anybody to even,
nobody
in,
else
so.
put in for it, so.
Okay.
I thought we were, I thought, Downship Brewing and those guys wanted it, but I guess since they bought the new building, they
Yeah, I
kinda
think
forgot.
his time is on that for now until,
Yeah,
Yeah, the last time I went in there, it was totally unlocked. During the winter, I just
You're the one that called it.
drove in there and I called Ron and it's like, really? I was,
at the Alto, at the treehouse?
I was livid. Walked in there, walked through the entire place, used a flashlight, saw some construction going on, stuff scattered all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, T-Bone immediately went over there and staff
Sure
and
did, stuff.
Oscar, and they. That's
that was
nuts.
October, right at the end of October, early November.
Well, we got, a lot-
The one doorknob was installed backwards. The part where it comes out, so you can't even close it. You have to turn the knob to close the door and then let it loose. So normally it has that angle when you push it in, it latches. Yeah, they had it installed backwards.
We got all that fixed and got secured and everything though, so.
well, that's what I'm gonna do with this mayor deal. I'm gonna put in an RFP for all that.
It's a lucrative business.
Is it? Well, I'm gonna wear flip-flops.
Can be.
Aw,
You gotta get your toenails done now.
Yeah, I will. I'll get those taken care of and I'll be,
get your.
We'll welcome you, Mayor.
it's not that hard a gig, really.
No, running a concession stand's not
I
that
mean,
difficult.
you gotta have people and kids and all that to help, but just, I
You've ran a
understand what the
restaurant.
big deal is. The restaurant's a tougher deal.
Yeah, I was like, you've ran a restaurant, you can run a
you
concession
ran
stand.
that.
Just hire a few high school kids, let them run it for you.
I just don't understand why
Make them the money.
they're having so many problems.
I don't know.
I'll go to work for you, Mayor.
Will you?
I don't know. I'm of the opinion that if somebody's not doing what they're supposed to do, I'd rather go without than have somebody go in there violating stuff they're supposed to be doing. That's just my opinion.
I used to count for more, but since you're leaving town,
Town's gonna go to hell, I'll tell you that now, so.
We're gonna go to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be sitting back, just going,
Watching it on YouTube.
I told him.
told him.
anything else? On the, any questions?
No.
We're moving on to 155. This is the one that I said split halfway through the year, and now we're to 155 and 156. Now we're recombining it. That's kind of why I made this other little cheat sheet, so you can see the actual original budget before the split. In your packet was after the
Right.
split, and then 156 shows the other half of it. So just kind of try to help y'all a little bit. See on the request, there's not many that are a lot bigger. Non-cap furniture and equipment goes up a little bit, goes up about 20,000. We just have a lot of really old stuff and need to kind of improve. That's also some of our equipment of, trying to think now. It's some of the like lawn equipment, things like that. Some of the smaller stuff like backpack blowers or weed eaters or some of that stuff does go in there as well. Another fuel goes up, but that's just, cost of fuel is high. You'll see like White Mountain Sports Complex and some of our sports complex are going up 3,000 to 5,000. Safety equipment, shop tools are both going up 5,000. With splitting and doing all the facilities now and things like that, we need more tools, and we're getting a little more staff, so we need some more tools. Another big mover, professional services. Last year's none was budgeted. I'm budgeting 35,000 for this. This is for any of the studies we do or anything like that. We spent 85,000 this current year, with none budgeted, so I'm trying to reconcile a little bit of that.
So that, if I may, Mr. Mayor, that came up earlier, difference in professional services and contractual services.
So you'll see in mine, I've moved everything to professional services, from contractual. I combined those two.
So what then do you
I-
consider a contractual service?
See, to me, they overlap heavily, because contractual services is, and Judy might know the actual technical definition, but I see professional service as a contractual service and vice versa.
You have
If it's,
two
if I'm,
different line items though.
I know, when this, so I'm taking all the money out of, professional services and just doing or contractual services and doing everything, or no.
Well, I mean, a contractual, but wouldn't a professional, I mean, it wouldn't be in maintenance item, it would be just, you need a professional for something that's not standardized?
Whether we're doing a study, like the traffic study,
That
or
would be a professional services?
service, or if we need a consultant for something, whether it's something on a pool or Wivet, or like, when we hired divers for like the Wivet, that would be a professional service.
Okay.
Okay, just asking.
You'll see, building and property maintenance. So, it shows going up 30,000. It actually is only going up 10 from what we currently have, because we started with a year with 60,000. We moved 20,000 into it to make it 80,000. We're getting pretty low on it, so I'm asking for 90,000 this next year. That's with taking over all the buildings in the village. That's just help with that. Building and property maintenance is the same thing. Park maintenance, general park maintenance, same thing going up. It's actually not going up tremendously. It's only going up $5,100. We started the year with 90,000, added 35,000 almost in it, midway through the year. And so that brought it up to 125,000, just about, and I'm asking for 130, for general park maintenance.
What about equipment rental? That almost doubled.
Which one is that?
52,100.
5,200.
About 2/3 of the way down, or 3/4
Yeah,
of the way down.
got it.
It was originally 22,100, so that's one of those in your book that's on your cheat sheet kind of thing. So 10,000 of it was moved over to 156, because, and so now it's moved back. So it was, the original budget on that was 22,000, and so 22,200, and then 10,100 of it was moved over to recreation 156.
Yeah.
And now it's moving back to it, so
Okay.
Shell game.
we're only adding about $800 to that one. That's why I had to make the cheat sheet, because it was throwing me off and kind of everything moving around.
I honestly can't believe we get everything that we do done. I mean, it's just amazing.
I have a phenomenal team, I will say that. They amaze me a lot of times. I mean, watching them lay 11,000 square foot of sod in a day was amazing at the Gavilan baseball field, or softball field.
It does look pristine now.
Thank you. That's right. Then we'll move on over to capital outlays. So the first one I'm asking for is a new shop, kind of a storage building and shop. We're out of storage space and shop space. This one is I don't have it. It's a 40 by 60 steel building. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I did, wow.
You're doing good.
It's send you an email and they keep kicking it back.
So it's a 40 by 60 steel building.
Rodosa-enium.com.
The next thing is a fitness court, and so that was actually on my strategic plan, was to put that fitness court in. It's an outdoor exercise court along with an art installation type of thing that is really kind of sweeping the nation, something that's on the uprise and I think is gonna be really popular.
And where will you put that?
So part of the purchasing of that, they actually come in and do studies for you and see where the best location to put it is.
Got the menu.
I would like to put it in Schoolhouse Park because, like I said, one side of it's an art installation that we can have local artwork done on it, so it could be like a welcome billboard kind of into
Yeah.
Ruidoso, but,
Okay,
like I said, they'll come in and do the studies and figure out where the best location for it is.
okay.
Then we're going to Turf Tank, what's called Turf Tank. It's an automated little robot that will draw lines for all the sports fields. It cuts down the time from drawing for like a soccer field. It takes us about 2 hours to line one. It can do it in 20 to 22 minutes. It's GPS located and everything. You go set the robot out and the person sits out there with an iPad and tells it where it wants it, and it draws it out. Just have to have one person monitoring it to make sure they keep putting
Stuff in it?
yeah, paint in it. The really cool thing is it also does things like logos. So if we want to put a Ruidoso logo on the field, we can actually do that and it'll go print the
Oh my
logo on the field.
gosh.
And that will relieve a lot of staff time for my staff. Next thing is a power washer trailer. That power washer trailer will also have a steamer on it and things. So it'll help with graffiti removal, sidewalk cleaning, pavilion cleaning, just all that kind of stuff. It has its own water tanks on it, so we don't have to hook up to water somewhere. It already has the water in it, the steamer, everything, just can pull up and clean.
How nice. That's a good one.
Next one's our biggest ticket item is the 60-foot bucket truck. Currently, we borrow a bucket truck from the Downs. I think it's a 80s or 90s model bucket truck that's on its last leg as well. And that's what we have to use when we put any of our Christmas decorations up, when we do sales, which are the big shade, like fabric shade structures, we have to use it. There's a lot that we use it for, and we have to borrow it from them every time. So I believe it's important for us to get one.
Where is that on the capital outlay schedule? I see Christmas decorations.
300 grand.
It's on
It's
general
right
fund
here.
101, 155 towards the top.
Nothing here about 155.
It's
Oh,
like,
there it is. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I was looking under fund number to do, okay, department number.
So the next item is ground penetrating radar. So what that is,
Looking for bodies.
yes, that's exactly what it is.
What in the world?
At the Forest Lawn Cemetery, there are several plots that, the record taking there historically wasn't the best, and there are several that we don't know if somebody's buried in that plot or not. For example, Miss Moore, her headstone is in this location, her lot is 3 spots over. So I don't know if she's buried in her lot and the headstone was put in the wrong spot, or if she was buried and the headstone's also in the wrong spot. And so this ground penetrating radar actually allows us, it looks like a push lawnmower. It goes over and scans the ground, and we can see if there's things underneath the ground. Yeah, caskets under the ground.
Will you share this with law enforcement?
This is actually something that we do want, I've talked to, Public Works about, they can use to locate all their lines and stuff too.
Yeah.
That if we need to locate sewer line, water line, something like that, they can run over and locate those as
Pretty
well.
sharp.
It'll show like if there's if they think there's a possible leak, we can run over and it will show the cavity where like the water would push out around the pipe and things like that, so,
So that's a GPR,
yes.
not a
ground
LiDAR.
Yeah, so it's a ground penetrating radar. LiDAR is from, it actually scans from the surface, yeah. But this actually shoots radar into the ground and brings it back up for a.
Oh, my gosh.
And then do you have to send somebody to training other than just watching a video, or do they get
No,
to
you
go
can
to-
watch a video. They're real simple. They have a screen on them that will show, it shows the different layers and stuff, and they're real simple to use.
God,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Start doing your own locating on,
Dig 811?
yeah,
Yeah, we'll still dig them,
Call
because
Matt.
if you call, because if you call 811 and you hit something, they have to pay for it.
yeah.
But it will help us, like I said, for ours, because we just, especially in the cemetery, we don't know where people are.
Is that a pull behind, or is it
It's
something you can put up in the back bed of a truck?
It's the same size as a push lawnmower.
Yeah, it's like pushing a lawnmower over
Yeah.
the ground.
Like an underground topography.
Exactly. And there are companies that will come do it for you, but they charge between $5,000 and $15,000 an acre. And so for what it would cost just to get Forest Lawn Cemetery done, it's cheaper to buy us.
Will
buy
it
our
go
own.
through cement, concrete,
Well, it'll show you the concrete vaults down there.
no, the pavement,
The pavement, yes, yes.
Oh, for water?
Yeah.
As long as it's not lead line.
Yeah, as long as not lead line. I don't think we have any of those roads.
Because, at Horton, we buried our time capsule.
Well, we can find that with it, yeah.
Oh, my gosh,
So-
that would be so.
That'll make some people happy. I'll call Doug right now.
The next item is a plumbing camera and line locator. This, with picking up facilities, we really need to be able to, we've had several blockages and things that we need a camera we can,
The water department
Water
already has
department
it.
has one.
when we can use theirs, we do. We've had to rent one several times as well.
I've called and they come out and run lines at the Horton. They just,
Yeah.
yep, I'll be there.
Yeah, when it's available, we can.
Yeah,
There's
but you're
been
a
several.
counselor.
Yeah, there's been several times it hadn't been available. And this also has the line locator function as well. So it has a beacon where that camera is, and you have a wand above ground, you can go above it, and you can find exactly where the camera is. So when you run into an issue, we can actually find out where it is and dig right there instead of going, well, we have 60 foot of line in, it should be about this spot. We can,
Same thing. They've got the exact same thing.
do they?
Yeah, because
I haven't
there's
used
drain
it.
lines and there are water lines and there's all kinds of issues. And they'd pop stuff up, open up a thing, shove it down there, and they'd go out there and beep, and here it is. And then it makes a turn and it goes out to here and might pick a mark in that parking.
Go ahead and put it in, though.
Yes.
Okay. And then the last one there, 155, is a robotic pool cleaner. And so this will, again, help cut down with staff cost stuff. They'll be able to put it in the pool every night. And it, little robotic, does its
What
own
are you
little thing.
using
cleaning
now?
it.
Push.
Yeah, there's a,
You do it by hand.
by hand vacuum in the morning.
I didn't know they were
Stingray with a
$5,500.
tail on it.
I had
No,
one
it's-
for my pool, and you just hook it on the water suction, and it just works all night. They called it a manta ray or something.
Yeah, so you can't have those hard suction ones in commercial pools. We can't have a hard suction coming into the pool because it's a risk. It's a safety risk. And so like our main drains in our pool aren't hard suction. They go down and go to a tank, and then the suction pulls out of that tank. And so you can't have hard suction to the pool because it's an entrapment risk if somebody gets stuck to it. So we can't use like that. You actually have to have a robot. It's a robotic one that,
Okay.
and you want big enough that can cover that size of pool in a night. The small, you can get them for, 2,000, 2,500, but they're this wide, they're a lot smaller. And it's for a residential pool of 3,000 gallons, not 160,000.
Are they that much now? God, I bought one for like 700.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a long time ago.
yeah, they've, pool stuff's gotten extremely expensive.
So on the storage building, you said you need additional storage. I was told that there's a barn or something over here on this Hull property that was gonna be able to be used for storage. Is that not enough
So
storage?
we use some, 421 hole. So we use some of it for storage.
Yeah.
But that building is going away hopefully soon.
One day.
Hopefully soon, but,
you know, once we get,
Right now, it is full. We have adventure store stuff in there, and we have Christmas stuff.
Okay.
And we have mowers in there also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where would you locate this new building at?
It would be probably down behind our office.
Okay.
We have room there in the back.
Down at
Next
the
to the
bottom part?
Townsend property.
Yeah, down in the back there. And it will work
Out by
kind
the
of,
zoo.
yeah. It kind of works double duty because we are planning on putting two bay doors in it. And so we can use it as a workshop and things that in the wintertime, we can do work in there if the weather's bad.
So then you're gonna have to run utilities to it?
Most likely, yes.
Okay. Is that included in the price?
So the building itself was only 60,000 and we estimated another 90 for the installation and utilities.
And utilities in the slab? That's- okay.
Any more questions on those items?
And these are all included. Yeah.
How are you doing with your staffing? I have big concerns for you for the summer.
Exceptionally well. Very well. Actually, Cheryl called me yesterday and she's like, can we start closing positions? Because I think you have too many applicants.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so cashiers and stuff, we're almost fully done. The lifeguards, I think we need 4 or 5 more. We have 15 so far.
Okay.
Managers, the parking manager and pool managers, I believe we're good. Parking manager we're trying to find somebody that's a little more difficult. But we're actually doing really well. That pay bump has really, once that went into effect, we got a lot more applications.
So you really did?
Yes. We went from very little to a lot more. So
Well, be darned.
it's
Well, that's
been very effective. So thank y'all for that. You've made recruiting a lot easier. We've also went to the schools at lunch.
Good
and
job. I'm
They,
glad you did
we,
that.
we got a lot from that. We've got a lot from that, so.
Now, whether they show up.
It's just getting in front of them, so. It's getting them to show up for that first 2 weeks. After they get that first paycheck, they're a lot more likely to show up throughout this summer.
If they got money, then
Yeah.
they can go do stuff.
They like that money, though. They like replenishing that bank account, so, it does work out. So, we'll move on to 157 Horton. It's pretty close to the same. You will see, it looks like a drastic reduction, which there is. We don't run the concession stand out of there anymore, and so we took concession supplies off of it, which was, $6,300. That is contracted with the Big Ben Foundation. That's one of their fundraisers to help do, scholarships for
They
youth
get
sports
those
and things
issues
like that.
taken care of in there?
Yes, they did.
So we don't have all the crock pots and the.
Everything is in
extension
SF
cords.
Yeah, I
and
was
all
really
this.
concerned about that.
Everything's NSF certified and all that
The
stuff.
health inspector came by yesterday, and I said, are you here for our kitchen, or are you here for the concession stand? She goes, no, we're here for your kitchen, not the concession stand. Good, I have nothing to do with
Yeah,
it.
no, we got them all straightened up and
I go,
stuff.
I don't have a key for it, I didn't want to
It
tell her.
actually worked out because their contract was coming up right at that point.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we need to renew. I said, show me where you fixed everything and then we can,
Good.
and that kind of gave them a little to get, incentive to get everything. That's funny. They ordered everything that day.
Good.
And it was here within a week. Any questions on Horton? Okay, then we're gonna go to cemeteries. 180 is $500. It's all that is for opening graves. Or that's for the utilities, sorry, 500 for the utilities.
Matt, before you go any further, you can backtrack just a little bit. I just saw utilities at Horton. You've got it going down, 10,000 budgeted. Do we know when we're gonna have the PD finally move in there and the court and dispatch? Because once that stuff opens up, that's gonna drive your utilities up.
Which I don't know if that goes, I mean,
We haven't put that in the budget yet.
Well, it's all on one meter.
is it, okay.
There's no
Well-
separate meters over
It's
there.
also,
We've already decided that we're gonna third it.
Oh, you're gonna,
We're
okay,
gonna do a third, and third,
okay,
whenever it starts.
okay. Yeah, that place is like wired all over the place. You'll never be able to separate it.
So 180 and 181, they're both, the 180s Forest Lawn, 181's Gavilan. So you'll see utilities and then opening fee and closing fees for, then we go to,
Special recreation, which is the Whibbit. And we're just, on revenue side, we're just, kind of just rebudgeting what we did, in the current budget. And then we'll have to get together, me and Matt. I haven't done the split of revenues from last year, so we'll have to get together in order to do the split between, Parks and Rec and Watershed. I think it's, is it 70-30?
Yes, it is.
70-30, so, that'll be going on. So we probably just need to get together and redefine and get this budget a little bit closer. It's currently not in there, but we'll stay within the revenues.
So under concession, you got $50,000 budgeted. Is that, because that's, you got a contract on that, and that's what we're expecting to get off the contract?
Where is that?
I don't see it.
It's on
Oh, right
page
here.
65,
Yeah, 65.
43209.
Right here, Mayor.
Yeah, it could be that, that's what I usually budget, it could be that they posted the concession, because I know we got some money from them last year. They probably just posted the revenues in the wrong fund. I probably just have to move it, but, I believe he was paying like 5,000 or something a month
I-
last year.
I'll have to look at the
For the
contract.
few months during the summer? Well, that wouldn't be 50,000 then.
I mean, because they pay rent, then they pay a percentage of all their concessions.
Do they pay rent
Go
for
to
the
us.
whole year?
Just the months they're open, I believe.
Once they're open?
And then they pay, a percentage of their concessions, and then a set dollar amount for each watercraft rental.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like if you look at 2021, they paid us 95,000.
Yeah, and then it dropped down, 21, 22, went
So
to
that could be that they're
1,100.
just posting it to the wrong,
Count.
account, that's what I'll
Yeah.
go through and look at.
Okay, we're gonna have to look at that.
Yeah, we'll have to clean that up. I would be willing to bet, just looking at, because then admissions to park went up drastically those 2 years. And so last year and this current fiscal year, so I'm willing to bet they were putting it all into that fund versus the concession fund.
For parking,
Admissions into the
for
park.
COVID and all that when it was nuts.
Because as you see in 2020 and 2021, it was 37,000 is what we made off of admissions to park. And last year, our current fiscal year, which was the second half of last summer, is 167,000.
Yeah.
And so I'm willing to bet that they just put it all into that one fund versus the split between the two.
So if you have your own paddle board, do you have to have a stick?
Boat permit.
You have to have a boat permit.
That's what I
Yes, ma'am.
thought, okay.
So, yes. If you do, if you see her out there, you need to haul a boat
Check
over
her
there
out.
and check her out.
She's just gonna paddle the middle and just stand there and wait. You can't get me.
Catch
I'll have to
me.
get the John boat out there and takes her down.
I saw a new little thing you can attach to the fin on it that has like a little propeller to help you.
As long as it's battery powered, you can
We'll
do
just
that.
get together and we'll come up
Okay.
with the budget for the WIBIT.
Sounds good. Do you want me to go over those?
He was, recommended for approval for some of his stuff through lodger's tax, so if we go back to the capital outlay sheet,
Capital outlay.
if you look in Fund 214, he can explain, those outlays. Whenever you're
Yeah,
ready.
because we asked about the tennis courts earlier, so you worked your way
Yeah,
down.
we had a question about the.
Yeah, I was watching on YouTube and not on Zoom, so I couldn't chime in. So the first one is, I asked for Christmas decorations. A lot of our Christmas decorations are aging, and $100,000 sounds like a lot, but it's really not. For example, like the sled that's in Wingfield Park, the little sled you can sit on and take pictures, I believe it goes for anywhere between $16,000 and $20,000 for that item. They're insane. It's kind of like pool stuff. If you just say it's for,
Or fire trucks or
it's-
police
yeah, if
stuff.
you say it's commercial or
Or dump
industrial-
trucks or,
industrial, then they.
Oh my
they-
God.
Or medical.
Yeah, you know, I always use the analogy for, pool stuff. There's one of our main suppliers, they sell a pool deck broom, is what they call it, the pool deck broom, which is a normal push broom that you can get at Ace for $20. And it's anywhere between $120 to $180 for those pool deck brooms. And I'm like, there's people that buy them, that's why they sell them like that, but it's nothing different than the same. I've literally ordered one and gone to Home Depot when I was in Hobbs and got the exact same broom, and I was like, y'all are just ripping people off, but,
Are y'all familiar with the sleigh?
No?
Is it that fantastical? I mean, I don't even.
Because you had it there this year, right?
Yes,
It
yeah.
was stationary.
it's a yellow metal one
Yeah.
that's there. And I mean, they're very well built and they're built to last a long time.
And
They have a
nobody's
lot of
gonna cut
people-
their hand or.
Yeah, and have a lot of people on them. They come pre-lit and everything, and, you know, it's the price of doing business with Christmas stuff. Christmas stuff's outrageous anyways, and we do want to add some decorations this year
Yeah, of course,
to
we
pretty up
add
Village
every year,
Hall.
we
and
wanna
pretty-
continue that.
Are we adding more to our 2 new parks?
Yes, so
One in
we actually
Albuquerque?
found a really cool, looking at doing some shopping, we found a really cool deal for the Circle. It looks like a lighted fountain, and it actually looks like it sprays water and stuff. And so to put in the Circle, so it's, you know, it's 3D all the way around it and stuff, and, that's really wanted to expand and kind of spread Christmas
Yeah.
joy through the whole village and not just
And you
one
know,
area.
well, the Wingfield Heritage Center is gonna have some Christmas stuff.
Yes, we'll pretty it up for Christmas as well.
Gotta get some admissions to cover it.
We can cover the outside, you can cover the inside.
Is there power in the circle?
I'll have to look, I believe so.
Yes, we
But,
have power.
yes.
That's the circle.
Because isn't there, like a totem pole or something in the middle? There's something in the middle. We're talking the
Totem
Upper
pole?
Canyon. There's something I seem to remember there's some type of a pole or something.
There's some bushes and there might have been a bear.
Maybe
or a-
that's
It might have been a card bear, I don't remember.
There's nothing there now, there's a couple rocks. There may be a power pole right there before it drops off.
No.
But it's on the other
But we
side.
did put a power pole
Like
there.
right in the
this
very
past-
center, that circle area.
I'll have to go look. I don't recall one, but there
seem to
might
remember
be.
there was something
And
there.
it might have been a bear that's no
I
longer
don't
there, but.
think so.
Maybe it's
Are you talking the actual circle?
the actual
Yes.
Yeah,
circle.
there's a bear in the actual circle.
Okay,
but
that's
not
one
what
thing.
we're doing.
Well, I mean, we can decorate the circle,
Oh,
but
okay.
We're doing the Stetson property.
Oh, okay, when you say the circle, I was thinking in the circle, not the Stenson property.
yeah. And then we might venture over there, we'll see. Pretty it up, even though we had some people that were really happy about decorations all over town, but don't bring it into Upper Canyon is what I was told when we decorated this past year.
They do what?
We had people call and tell us, the decorations in town look pretty, just don't bring it to Upper Canyon.
Scrooge McDuck.
And I was like, well, we're gonna make all of the town pretty, so. You gotta love
See,
them.
I have people that say, well, why can't you bring
Oh.
the decorations down, like, the balls, rusty
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
balls, I'm not saying that he asked this, but I'm just saying,
Oh,
his- all the way down that way to
All the
the
way down.
chamber.
And that's what we're hoping to be able to start expanding.
One of the issues is P&M also. 'Cause
We can't use
used
their
to have
poles.
Decorations, and if they want a meter at each pole, if we're to put decorations.
Next, they don't want us
So
to.
that's one of the issues.
So you're okay where you're currently at, just don't expand it?
Yes, because we currently own the poles that we're there on.
Okay.
And so, but if we want to put it on their pole, we must meter.
There's a few.
Yeah.
Well, we just want to make sure that P&M is changing our lights out too.
So, if we don't have any more questions on Christmas decorations, we'll move on to Two Rivers Playground. That playground is heavily, heavily used, and it is
Sad.
aged and sad. 300,000 sounds like a lot, but it's another one of those that playgrounds are expensive. We want to change out from the sand underneath it to a pour-in-place, rubber matted. They're a lot, it's actually, you know, NSF approved, it's a lot safer, impact zone. We would love to, playgrounds nowadays are so much different. You can make them where, you know, it's animals or bears or fairy castle or whatever it is. You know, we talked about doing a kind of a castle theme. You have the fairy trail running through Two Rivers and kind of bringing that into the playground. That's all down the road when we start designing it, but kind of what designs we want. So that's the new playground. The tennis courts, so I heard y'all talking about this some. There is $120,000 of lodger's tax allocated for that tennis court. Last year, I believe, might have been 2 years ago, I think it was last year. New tennis courts right around $300,000 now. And so this is to make that whole. I tried to get some money from UTSA, or USTA, United States Tennis Association. Used to, they funded 50% of the projects. Now, they still fund 50% of the projects up to $10,000.
Is that for a ball and a cord?
Yeah, I was like, well, that's not,
Covers the net.
yeah, I was like, well, that doesn't really help us much. Look, we currently have a quote for that project, it's $308,000. So this will bring us to 300,000, then I can get that UTSA for the
Will that be double
$10,000.
marked for pickleball as well?
Nope.
That will be tennis only,
Dedicated.
And that's only at,
Schoolhouse Park,
Schoolhouse
yes.
Park.
But, and it's just the one set.
One double
The
battery.
other set is just
So.
gone, that's a write-off.
So it depends how, I mean, we're gonna get direction from council. We are actually planning on redoing the west set, the set that's totaled.
Oh, okay.
Redo that one, because the east set is still functional. We can Band-Aid it for a few more years and keep it functional. And so redo the one that's no good to
Right.
be playable, and then in a few years, we can do some progressive
Because as a
planning.
pickleball player, I can tell you, it gets pretty confusing.
Oh, my God.
It gets very confusing on these
Lines,
lines.
blue lines.
He's got his little pickleball skirt.
I played once, and I can tell you.
See it
As long as you stay out of the
village
kitchen,
is
right,
gonna
Mayor?
be heavily into the dog park and pickleball.
I'm all White Mountain Meadows. I
There we
mean,
go.
words come plain.
Just stay out of the kitchen, right, Mayor?
That's right, stay out of the kitchen. I gotta go return a phone call for them, and I'll be right back.
Okay, and then any questions on tennis courts? Okay, then, the last thing we have is the Wingfield Park electricity. And so that is to run power, three-phase, 480 power over to the pavilion to power the, ice rink. And then any concerts or anything else we do there, but its main purpose is the ice rink. We spent $45,000 last year in fuel and generator cost, I
Yeah,
believe.
Yeah.
And so, for $5,000 more, we can put in permanent power, and power is a lot cheaper than fuel costs.
Because what kind of power do we have there now?
It's just a 220 power.
220?
And so we'll actually have to go off the north side of, Wingfield Park. It will ditch all the way down. We'll put it underground, along where the ditch is now. We'll ditch out, put it underground there, and it'll come up, and they'll set a transformer right behind the pavilion. That's a 440 transformer that then we can just wire the chiller straight into, and I don't have to worry about filling the generator with diesel every day. And it ran us about $300 a day in fuel to operate that ill. What's amazing is we still made a profit off of that ice rink. So made an $8,000 profit even spending that much in fuel and stuff.
I think many appreciated the fact that you had heat there and aware of your flames and also the size.
Yes.
People weren't crowded.
Exactly.
No, we heard a lot of really good from it, so I think it's a great addition.
Did we pay off the ice rink?
It's Lodgers
We
tax.
bought
Lodgers
that-
tax.
We bought that
Lodgers
outright.
tax, yes.
Lodgers Tax bought it outright.
That's right.
Any questions on?
And so all of this is all covered. We've already. It looks great. A lot of great projects.
We're trying. I know we're spending a lot of money, but we're trying to get things up and going.
No, it's important.
You just want to guess what your whole presentation was, that you were giving us some liminal suggestions by saying that it's only 300,000.
It's only grand scheme of things. I mean, look at our full budget. It's only I took several psychology classes in college.
So we're gonna move on then, we'll do the radio station, convention center in Wingfield House?
Are we
Or
doing
did you wanna
HR
move
first?
around?
We're going, Counselor, we're going to move HR and safety next.
Perfect, okay,
Thanks,
that's it.
guys.
Counselors.
Thank you.
I wondered why they were in here going, they're a long way down the list. HR, all right.
Vacation.
Yeah, enjoy, have a good time on your vacation.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia?
Land.
See a new niece and then go on Friday to Atlanta.
What's in Atlanta? Oh, okay, so you Hawks and
Okay.
fan?
Cheryl, you only got a sheet and a quarter there, you ought to be good.
Yeah.
Have at it.
Aw,
It's almost like being a librarian, right?
Good afternoon, everybody.
They can't be bored. She's got to deal with everybody.
yeah, no, her job is not boring.
All right, so So currently, the HR department, I have one FTE, a HR generalist, and then an FTE safety coordinator, and then a part-time administrative assistant. I am requesting an additional FTE for our department. And just to give you a little bit of justification on that, a lot of the major HR initiatives that we've worked on, anytime there's just the pay plan we've done, anytime we've had COLAs in the past, the amount of PANs that we're processing, we have 24 current positions posted, and some of those have multiple vacancies within them, as you all know. The training that we have up and running through safety, there's a lot of planning going into that, and getting people through, and certificates, and so I am asking for I'm requesting another full-time FTE. My plan would be to make that position a HR specialist, and then I would keep that part-time admin assistant position.
And what is Cassie's position?
She's an HR generalist.
A generalist.
So it would be somebody just like her, right? It would be the same, okay.
Yes, with different duties. I mean, I don't know if you want me to go into detail on that, but the HR specialist, and my recommendation would be to oversee the entire hiring experience, onboarding, along with other projects and stuff, but primarily focusing on that with the pay plan approval and getting these positions filled as quickly as we can. Matt was right, we have seen a uptick in applications for a lot of our jobs. Some of the manager positions, not so much yet, but we need to get out there and continue to find places to advertise positions and job fairs and that kind of thing.
Where would you physically put that person?
Well, until the court.
In the hall?
Yeah.
Yeah, the court is fixing.
Until the court leaves, they would just be housed with me, I suppose.
But then is that long-term then, if when the courts leaves, maybe move?
We're looking at, we have some ideas, how to, work with some of the office space we have, just like we're with the inspectors, we're looking at possibly going out for another inspector. We're just gonna have to make sure we, utilize the office space, and, if we have to, well, for sure we'll have to move to another office and then try to get staff together and then have, two in each office, or we'll work it out.
And we also,
Where's Tim?
Tim is still at the
You're still over
PD, we still
okay.
need to get Tim.
You may
over
be
there.
housed up here and up in the attic.
in
for-
the attic, okay.
Yes.
Belfry.
Cool.
That's where we had one of our inspectors for a while, and we are running out of space here. I mean, that's no doubt, so.
Okay.
And year-to-date, we have had some overtime, costs that's basically the HR generalist. And of course, my overtime doesn't impact this, but, the generalist has had, 11,000 in overtime this year.
It's quite a bit.
It's quite a bit.
That's a lot, yeah. So if you're looking to add a specialist, are you anticipating your generalist will move up?
Yeah, that's
No.
what I was.
Nope, okay.
No.
So you're gonna try and find something somebody that's got the skill sets to fill in as a specialist?
Absolutely.
You think there's people out there for that?
I know of a couple.
So I have someone on staff right now that has that skill set for the last 3.5 years, has been doing the whole onboarding process at her
Okay.
previous position. She has a perfect personality and the positive attitude to work in that capacity, scheduling everything, from interviews to vetting the applicants, scheduling the interviews all the way up to the orientation process, so,
So then that person's position would open up?
correct.
Okay.
Correct. My biggest concern, all transparency, the amount of paperwork that comes through the office on a daily basis is a lot, is just unreal. And you all know with the IPRAs that we have coming in, it's really important to get that stuff filed timely. Although it's secured, it's not always filed and scanned timely, and so that's my biggest concern. The village, got new filing systems for us a few months back, 6 months ago probably. And we still need to do the whole, personnel file switch over because the files we have don't work with it. Other departments went through that as well, but, so we have a lot ahead of us, but, so that's that. Are there any questions on that? Okay. Moving down to,
What, did you have any other that you're gonna go up on, any, thing I s-
Employee awards went
awards.
up quite a bit.
oh, yeah, I'll run down, let's see.
Ooh, yeah.
So on employee awards, it did go up by, it looks like by the 12,000 for the safety incentives. And what we've done is, I looked up what we were spending on safety days, so for the last 2 years. I might let you go over that, Tim, if you don't mind.
Okay.
In '22, we spent $23,000 in safety day funds. And then in '21, it was like 22,000. And so we're no longer doing the safety day. And so we'll save there. But we do want to present some incentives for the staff to kind of keep the momentum and excitement going for people attending the safety training that they need and are required to attend. Do you want to
Oh,
just
okay.
run over that?
Afternoon. One of the things we've talked about is instead of incentivizing being in an accident or not, which seems to be problematic, we want to incentivize them going to training. Minimum of 6 hours, and then every 3 to 4 hour increments increase that they get past that, then we would reward them with hats, T-shirts, duffel bags, jackets, things of that nature that they've received somewhat in the past, but it seems to speak more volume of giving them a jacket every 4 years than giving anything else. I've been asked about that, I guess 50 times. When do we get our jackets again? Well, that I can't answer because that was, BT before me. So what we thought about is if we make this into where you can actually see your own progression as far as your safety training and things of that nature, then it would mean more for them to attend the safety trainings. The biggest thing about with the accidents and incidents, I firmly believe that we should never make it to where they lose anything for having an accident incident. That way it would encourage them to report them and we can correct the matter and not just that one little issue. Sometimes when I talk to staffing about this, they feel like that the only reason they do anything is so they get that day off. Well, that's not the reason you should be safe at work or attend your trainings or anything else. So if we maxed out at 30 hours, and which would be possible, you could do 30 hours of safety training a year, then we talked about maybe a gift card to go along at the end of the year with our annual presentation.
But as much as I agree with the need for safety training, I also see it being a double-edged sword because those departments, like right now, when we've got them when they're so swamped, they don't have time to do safety training.
Counselor, we're really trying to hybrid it, in person, online, and actually, we've set it up to where I could do it virtually. That way, they're not so much gone, but if you take in consideration 6 hours is only an hour every other month.
I get it, but I'm just playing devil's advocate. Because then as a supervisor, it's like, oh, hell no, we've got so much stuff doing. You can't take that hour off to go do your training. So are the trainings typically an hour in length or are they half an hour in
I'm
length?
trying to get them between 2 and 3 hours. And that is certification classes. Those are defensive driving, CPR, first aid. Those are the
But
things
can
that
they
they
do
need.
stages of that or do they have to
I
sit down
could
for
do
a
it in
full 2.5
stages, but the
or 3
problem I'm
hours?
having is when we do staged classes, I don't get the same participants the next class.
Yeah, that's the bad thing.
And I don't disagree with you at all, and I know I'd be shot, having been an administrator, to say, you gotta make time, you gotta make them get in there, but really, when you start talking defensive driving and some of those things that are imperatives that'll affect you on the long run, you almost have to do it.
What's like when we used to do comp time? Yeah, comp time. Okay, I want to use my comp time. No, we're shorthanded. You can't take your comp time. So, it just takes a bit of work to get that mindset changed. That we have to invest in that in that time to do the safety training.
But don't they have to do the safety
They need to
training?
do some, and we're trying to make a scheduling of, this is your mandatory safety training. You must have these hours, because it's required not by just us, but general standards of OSHA and everybody else, especially our insurance pool. They would love it if we could get everybody through defensive driving tactics. Why? Because it shows effort and it shows due diligence on our part. The hardest part is, like you're saying, Counselor, is the time. How do we do this? I've tried to condense a lot of the classes to where we're offering the same amount of information and quality information within a certain time frame. This morning I did a class with some of the liaisons, which was an incident accident investigation class. I can do that class in 3 hours. They gain enough information out of it, they can go forward and share that with other employees.
I just don't I understand. But I don't, why we have to incentivize our people when they need the training. I don't understand that. Okay, just at the bank, you said, okay, Susan, this is what you have to do this year. And then you get that done and you get your certificates. They didn't pat me on the back or anything. I better do that. That was my job to do. It was part of my job. I don't understand why we have to spend $30,000 to say, oh, thank you for doing that.
Instead, the supervisor's going, Susan, you haven't been doing any training. You need to get your butt in and you need to get this training done.
Well, because that's.
And that was my job. I had to make sure that Cindy and Jerry and everybody else did their training.
That's how,
If you look at the police department, we have unfunded mandates that we have to abide by every 2 years. If not, we lose our certification. And if we don't do them, we're out of a job because you're not keeping up with your cert. So we don't have no incentive, and it costs the department thousands of dollars a year to put everybody through biennium training and the requirements that the state requires. So, I mean, and what's their incentive? They get paid 3 or 4 hours of overtime every time we have biennium training. I mean,
I'm not saying,
I appreciate it.
I think it's always a good thing that our employees are recognized. But, it's just, I've just noticed a call out and a call out and a call out to even get nominations. I mean, I know people are working hard and you forget about it and then, oh no, it's another 2 weeks. But to me, that's a lot of money to say, thank you for doing your job. When we've been increasing your salaries and everything. I mean, if we want to do that, that's fine, but I just don't think that our employees realize what a great place they work.
And Counselor, if I can just add, I agree with you. I think coming out of COVID where we just stopped training on everybody and for 2 years or so, nobody had any training. So just trying to get a buy-in again from the staff and get excited about having the training, I think is really important, having them want to come to training. That's kind of what this is for.
Okay.
But I understand your point completely. I agree. I think we offer a great place to work. We're offering training. We're offering training in person through ENMU, online, all kinds of stuff. And they should appreciate that. But just, when Tim first started rolling out these classes, I saw a huge uptick huge, enrollment numbers. I mean, they were excited. They were wanting to come. And these last few classes, not so much. So we just need a way to continue with that buy-in and keep these guys motivated and girls to come to class.
I guess however we have to do it.
Well, and as Councilor Coughlin was saying, change of culture.
Yep.
Before it was, well, you have to have this many hours for this purpose, or your goal is to get this class done. Well, if we remove those goals and incentives of that nature, I would love it to be mandated that you have to do your required training annually, no questions asked. I have to do 180 hours a year or I lose my credentialing.
I don't understand why we
no
can't
choice.
say you have to have these trainings. If you're this, you don't, not everybody has to do the same trainings.
Correct.
But if I'm this, I've got to have these trainings.
If you drive a village vehicle, you have to do defensive driving. If you do this, you have to have this. If you do this. I mean, we now have a requirement from the state since we got licensed here in Ruidoso, 24 hours of training a year. But what I've done with the supervisors, I didn't tell them, 24 hours of training, because guess when it's gonna get done? In that last month of the
yes.
year, and it's like, we don't have enough time. Instead, it's, you must do 2 hours of training a month. 2 hours of training a month, and it just, you have to do it. And here's the subjects that you have to choose from, but it must be done.
And I could go ahead, Counselor.
Well, couldn't we change the employee policy? Because I agree with $30,000. Once you start something, you can't take it back. So this is gonna be a reoccurring expense, you would
What do you
say.
mean you're not gonna give me anything for doing that training?
Well, once you start it, how do you
Yeah.
roll it back?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
And, you know, being part of the New Mexico Self-Insurance Fund for years, you know, we had to have, everyone had to have 8 hours of training for managers and supervisors, 16 for employees. All I ever cared about was we want our dividend credit at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care what class you take, I just want, and that's being honest, that's the way my mindset was, we want the dividend credit for the village.
Right.
And instead of knowing what classes, if Cheryl, I didn't want her to go to excavating class, but if that's all they had that week, she was gonna go take I mean, that's the way, what we did, or we sent Lawrence here to office safety or whatever, you know, things like that. Classes that didn't pertain really to their career or to their department, and all we cared about that. But now, ever since we had a fatality at the wastewater treatment plant several years ago, I mean, that changed my mindset completely. So I believe we need to do the training in these departments that are working in these types of hazardous departments and situations. We need to provide them that training. They need to attend those trainings.
So again, I think probably at this point, if we keep talking about it and opinions back and forth, it may need to get washed out at the end and find out whether we support that line or whatever. So, thank you.
Understood.
Yeah,
I would only add that there are only 3 ways you incentivize individuals: food, money, and sex. Obviously, dollars, not negotiable. So just keep that in mind.
They are getting a pay.
That could be a class in itself.
That's right, a whole different class.
Okay,
I'll come and take that.
keep going.
You gotta bring in honey.
Keep going. Cheryl, you got anything else?
Yeah, just a few other things. We have 40,000 left in safety equipment. We were given quite a bit last year. And we just asked Judy if we could roll those funds over. Part of that, is gonna go to some safety initiatives that we haven't gotten off the ground yet. Let's see, the unemployment claims, obviously they're up, from a few years back, but they've been trending high since '21, so we asked for 25,000 there. And then,
Do we have people that quit and then try to claim on us?
yes,
Oh, yeah.
all the time.
Daily. Or you have people who have quit, go on to the next employment, and then they quit there, and then it comes back onto you again.
Yeah, come back and hit you, and then you have to go through the hearings.
Yeah.
And if we turn them, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was just moving
We
on.
shouldn't even try
I was
that.
gonna say, if we terminate them for cause, then we have a chance of winning that or appealing
Sure.
it and winning it, and we usually do. But if we terminate them for probationary or they quit, then they usually get it.
And this recruitment cost, we might have to start going to headhunters. Yeah.
Well, backing up to the training and development.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah.
What's the big?
Training and development. So in here, we do have, $5,000 allocated for associate trainer program. And the idea behind this is, Tim has some succession planning he's identified for a couple of our, high-level employees to start taking some of the certification classes he has. So for continuity of the program, we're doing all this work to build this program, and when Tim retires, I think I have him under contract right now for 5 years or so, but when he retires, we need to be able to keep the program going.
Yes, absolutely.
But you're saying that's for that training and development, 38,000. And then that would be something, if you're slating this person that maybe works in solid waste, you're gonna pay to send them to school and the solid waste doesn't have to?
Yes,
Is that
that's
okay?
correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll front the classes, the requirements. That way, it's not all of a sudden a stop and go. It's just a transition.
Gotcha. And then the drug testing, I think that's been asked before. I know if there's a crash or something like that and the person has to go get drug tested, I'm paying for it out of my department. No.
No.
You are still.
We are, and we had a policy change, also, if you guys will remember, so we are gonna see an increase in drug testing for
Yes.
all vehicle accidents.
But that's better that I think it's one spot, here you go, you're dealing with it.
Right.
We weren't doing that already?
We were
Well,
only
it
doing-
was the department would have to pay for it. If a PD guy got in it and then they got drug tested, the PD had to come up with the money to pay for it, or the fire department. or
Okay, so
think
you've
that-
taken the money from all of the individual and put it into one.
Was that your question, Counselor Coughlin, was if we're not doing that already, is that on the payment on it or on the crashes?
On the crashes.
Oh, yeah. we've
So
always
if,
done
if
that.
they have a crash, then they have to be drug tested.
Yes, that's,
The way you said that is we're going to start doing that.
Well, we were only doing, DOTs and safety sensitive, there for the last few years,
and I want to, it's for any type of crash,
We've
we
changed
want to
the
do drug testing on it.
Because I know we used to do that. There's been some minor accidents that employees been tested on.
Yep.
Okay.
We're going to be consistent on it.
Is that contract legal fees, is that like for Dina?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It is.
Do they have to take a breathalyzer too?
They do offer
Yes.
that, yes. Yep, do the,
Have you noticed in Alamogordo, on 10th Street, where the drug testing center is, and next door is a cannabis store?
Is it,
is that the White Sands drug testing? Is that where it's at?
I don't get that far back
I used them for
anymore.
years for my drug testing company, so that's funny.
They should start a side business that says,
Yeah.
check the quality of your product.
Exactly.
I used to do the drug testing myself.
Fuck off, dude.
You just get the kits and do it. Here, in the bathroom, Karen.
So HR is not boring.
Yep,
No,
no, you're
it's been-
good.
it's-
Anything
it's-
else?
So software maintenance had a big jump as well, and we've never spent anywhere near that much.
Is that on your Neil?
Yeah.
It is. So those are all the renewal fees for the different programs that we've now purchased. So if, we had Insight and Onboard, and now we've added Perform, eForms, and Learn
Okay.
for the different software they offer.
Cheryl, thank you so much too for this, this past year we have got through with our policy. And I really do appreciate all the time and effort and work you put in on that, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate all your help with this.
No, and I also
yours.
thank both counselors for working with Cheryl, and there's a lot that goes through HR. They're always busy, and it's always fast paced, and I understand it. I'm involved quite a bit, so it just, there's a
one
lot
thing
going
I'm
on.
Trying to get through to my successor is HR is the one area that can come back and bite you in the butt.
Yep.
Big time.
Yep.
You gotta document everything. Don't hesitate.
You don't document, it don't exist.
That's right. And then when you go to try to terminate, and there's no documentation.
And there's other she might not mention, we want to do some more in-house training or bring in trainers, and not only Dina, our attorney, to do discipline, how to conduct disciplinary actions and investigations, and we want to make sure our supervisors, managers, directors understand the process, because there's a lot to it, and we want to make sure everybody is well-versed in that, so.
So at one time, Cheryl, we talked about a virtual or video training service that we were looking at or something.
Learn.
So,
It's gotten pushed back several times,
Okay.
Counselor, I'll be honest. Tim took the lead on that a couple months back.
We go live next week.
oh, we are going live with it. Okay. And that was like a whole library of.
It's a whole catalog of things they offer as far as supplemental trainings
Okay.
that can be virtually done on pace.
Right, okay, great.
We can build classes inside it as well and have it online for
Okay.
there's a lot of functionality there. So,
Perfect.
Can they do it at home? And then is there a way to
Yeah.
track it once they've completed
Yes,
it?
I can see virtually anything that they're doing as far as when they log in, time spent and all those natures.
Okay.
You cannot be the mayor.
I am. We'd have been done this morning if I was the mayor. So,
Really? I kind of noticed you at times going,
yeah, it's,
God, thank
I telegraphed.
He's gonna,
I had us almost done, Mayor.
Oh, good.
I was whipping and spurring.
Aaron said he's
Yeah.
gonna run
I
against
was
you.
whipping and spurring. I didn't know. Are you ready to go on to, the next, I think, because we're good with y'all? Thank you.
Y'all, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Sorry I missed it,
appreciate
Tim.
you.
So you want to go back now to the radio station run? Coolio. Jump to HR.
Judy has it all right here, so
Snap.
I have to admit that.
Okay.
Where are we doing the
Radio
radio
station.
station?
Where is it?
Okay, the radio station, this, enterprise fund is actually subsidized by the general fund, because it doesn't generate enough, revenues.
Are we gonna start trying to do more?
Well, that's what we need to
advertising?
discuss if we want to let that guy sell advertising. We can do it. We got people asking.
Is there any reason why we can't?
No?
More and more people are listening, aren't they?
Up to 13.
They're 13 It depends on if Coughlin's listening.
No, I've quit listening. I'm done.
yeah, because we've been talking about,
Yeah.
increasing the revenues, and nothing's happening with it.
Why not?
We just ain't called the guy back, and we can start.
Wasn't there a little bit of a conflict with, I was thinking.
No, the guy,
He's already selling
he sells radio advertising for everybody.
for everybody? Okay.
Yep, and he's out of Lovington, but he lives in Roswell, but he sells,
Sorry.
on commission.
Okay.
I mean, whatever he sells, he gets a small piece of it.
Sure.
So it's not a salary position, no skin off our nose. It's just that there was a thought there for a while that since we were owned by the municipality that we shouldn't advertise.
Why not?
I don't know. But
Thought that.
some of those, that we've actually, have approached different people about doing financial shows where they would pay to sponsor and then pay for an hour. And then they talk about what they do for a living and sell their business.
Sell their stuff.
So there is one FTE associated with this fund. If you look on operations, they've actually gone down due to a decrease in utilities and a couple of other changes in some other accounts. On the next area in services, it actually decreased also, so it's pretty much the same budget as last year.
Since Tim Roberts is gone, is Greg gonna be the manager?
We haven't really got into that, but he's self-sufficient over there right now, but when we get the new person, he'll have to report to somebody, but that's what we were kind of hoping, that the deputy manager, that we could talk about managing a salesperson, working with him, but Greg does real good with
Yeah.
setting up shows, doing interviews, PSAs.
He knows what to do.
They just, PIO sends it to him, but we need to have a better grasp of things like that. But, with everything that's going on over there right now with parking and all that, we've kind of left it alone. But we can reach out I can't remember the individual's name now. We've got his contact info.
For what?
For the sales.
For the sales.
And then as soon as we are able to get a deputy manager, then we'd move forward on that and talk about who to report to, span of control and all those things.
So what about succession planning? Because if Greg ever decides to leave.
We've got Andrew can operate it, and we're training Diana.
I think she may back out of it a little bit, so she,
She did?
yes. I think she said it's been several years since she worked at a radio station, but she still may come back.
From the library?
No, from,
She's working, she's a part-timer for Cheryl, HR department. But Andrew is, he's training at this, as we speak.
He's jack of all trades.
well, we're working on getting other people knowledgeable about how to do it.
Yeah, we need to get several.
Yep.
Okay.
If not, we'll move on to Convention Center. This is actually, I think it's 5 FTEs, in that area. And it looks like overall, the budget has decreased. I know he does have one capital outlay is to re-roof, the facility at 700,000.
And we have a manager now.
Yep. Yes. Oh, we did.
Oh.
Bernadine. She applied, went through the process, went through the review committees and scored real well.
There you go. So now you gotta hire for her position.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions on the Convention Center?
Where's the roof at and the capital
In
outlay?
the capital
Okay.
outlay,
That was
and
what,
it's
seven?
included in the budget at this point.
Current.
Did we get some new furniture for the convention
Yep.
center?
They had, I forgot what money was set aside for that.
We had money set aside in the budget, I think
And they
30 or
got-
40.
They've got stuff ordered and it's just
Yeah.
now coming in.
Yeah, I saw a couple
They were,
of
and we're gonna take that,
couches.
we're gonna take those old leather couches and we're gonna spread them out, move some down to the Billy the Kid and
Oh, okay.
whatever, but we were trying to get some furniture that you didn't have to crawl out of, fall into, that was more business attire. So you could sit and,
Set up instead of being on the ground.
yeah, because we went through and people were laying on them and then our guy, yeah, they would be.
They're pretty comfortable to lay on.
And then we'd see every time there's an event, they're just shoved up against the wall.
Yeah.
And so they're wanting to get out of that. So that's one of the things that we talked to Bernadine about was training the guys to, leave those things because they're set in unique positions in that foyer there by the fireplace and
Sure.
everything.
Okay.
So, anyway.
The next department under this division is Wingfield House. Currently, that's 1 FTE. And it looks like, since we're going to go into operation, this is just an initial budget of what he thought it might cost. So that may be enough, or we might have to increase it a little bit during the year.
It'll have to be increased.
What about the Museum of the Horse? Did they have some cases that maybe we could purchase that maybe for other different things?
Possibly, but I don't know who we'd even talk to. I talked to several of those over there. That one counselor, I'd like to talk to her and see what she could do.
Sabrina?
But she's not gonna jump out there. But I asked the mayor about it and he's like, oh Lord, I don't know what we can do because those that came with the Hubbard Museum.
So did the museum, and now you're not gonna use it
Well, but
as a
see, the
museum.
deal is right now, they're breaking the rules right now.
I know.
And Miss Hubbard, they said she could take back the building and everything.
And they want to still put the village.
They're
the
in the
city
Just-
process.
They received some capital outlay for that, for 265,000, I believe, somewhere in that vicinity for the,
Planning and zone, planning.
I was,
So they're just gonna move in there without the real ability to do it?
But Miss Hubbard doesn't want the building back.
Okay.
And if she didn't take the stuff back and that's not operated as a museum, charter says then all that stuff that they've collected goes back to other museums.
and the only reason I ask is because, I got a whole nother shipment of Wingsville stuff. And Elizabeth and Frank and I, since we don't have our FTE, we got things out and we started photographing and trying to, so that we can take to the committee, bring to the council. And there's just gonna be more things. We're gonna need more cases.
Well, what I don't know is I've been in the house and how many TVs do we have going in there?
12.
12 TVs that are going to be display and talking about different things. And you're not going to have room for a whole lot of cabinets. I mean, they're going to have to be a specialized cabinet.
Well, and I guess what we can do too is a lot of the stuff, pictures and stuff, you put on the digital.
So they
and
scroll
it
by.
just- Yeah, but
I guess we need to go ahead and contact, either get
What we
Older
need-
Roberts or get back and find out what he was thinking on this stuff, because I thought we'd already ordered cabinets. Did we not
did.
spend?
Yeah, we've got them.
Yeah.
We bought,
We
he
need
bought
more than
some.
that.
We've got 9. That's
And you
what
need- how many-
Tim.
how many
and
more?
I don't know, but Elizabeth and Frank and I started talking, and Frank goes, well, God, they're, you know, we could always maybe purchase from,
I don't know if they can sell them. That's the point. You know, it's like us selling these pictures out here on the wall. I mean, I don't know who the picture belongs to, maybe the village, but a lot of that comes back. And then we need to go through the layout, because that
Yeah.
place is not just a museum. I mean, that's all I hear about it now. It's a museum. It's not just a museum. It's going to be a center that people come in, get information. We want to have a little gathering, and it's going to be so tight right now that you can't hardly get in it.
well, plus we don't have any seats for gathering.
Exactly. We're gonna have to have some chairs, and then that back patio, we're gonna have to have some outdoor stuff.
Yep.
To have it. So, but when they put that one wall in there, to me, but Frank thinks that they can put more pictures on the walls.
I was very disappointed with that, but
Mm-hmm.
that's the way it is. What I was told is that it's holding the upstairs
Wall,
up.
yep. Or support beam. Anyway,
One thing I don't see in here is insurance.
in the building,
Well, for the collections and.
So if that is just incorporated in our regular municipal municipal insurance, it'll be in a different department called special activities, where we just put all the lump sum general fund, insurance, portion in that one account.
So
We
why
don't,
do
we
some-
we
but some
don't
of the
split
other
it up.
departments have insurance included in their budgets.
Like who?
I don't know, we've been talking about it today.
It's just the enterprise funds, nobody else
Oh,
in
is
the
it the
general.
enterprise? Okay.
Yeah,
so what's this one on here for group insurance, 27,000? How come that's so expensive?
that's, our benefits.
That's what?
That's the benefits out of, since it's a vacancy, it's considered at full
Full-time.
Well,
benefit,
you've got the
family.
salary.
Family plan.
You've got a family plan costs 28 grand a year
We pay 80% of the cost.
for a family. It's 80 grand. I mean,
Well, look
20
at mine.
28
Mine's
grand.
$523 for a family.
That you
I
pay
know,
in
but
addition
you got an
to,
employee that's making $34,000. His overhead and everything, and with the insurance gets him to 70 grand nearly.
I know. I know.
yeah, a single on our plan, well, the old one per month was $900. That's just a single. Family's 2,500, that's just our portion.
Yeah.
And then the employee picks up another,
Holy cow. Because I've never really isolated just on family.
So is that position supposed to be like a manager of this thing?
Yeah, it would be somebody that's a manager, curator type that
Is
can,
it part-time?
no, it'd be full-time.
That's
This-
$16.32 an hour.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna have to be raised.
Yes, this one here was for the original curator, but now we put out for a manager/curator.
So do we need to change that in the budget?
Yeah, that 33 will go to 50, 55 easy.
Yeah.
And then the para FICA will change, but that group that insurance will stay the same.
It should stay the same.
if I could just get what the opening salary is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had it so, with Tim's salary, he was several things.
I'm assuming that was 51,850.
Maybe.
That's what it was in the 22-23 budget.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Yes,
there you go.
yes.
So
It is looking good, though.
Yeah, the front's looking really nice.
Anything else?
I've been asked by a number of people, are you guys ever gonna finish that thing?
I tell you what, we need to.
We're
put it-
trying, it's Susan holding everything up.
Well, and, I mean, as hard as we push, White Sands there and on, the other project down there, they're subbing on some stuff, and that's where they get held up.
Yeah, and they don't have control over their subs.
No, not like, Bradbury Stand.
No,
Strand, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, No, I told Ron, I think we need to look at
I-
them in the future.
I visited with them and,
Clark's going away for a few years.
You better start looking out elsewhere and securing something.
Yeah.
You don't change horses in the middle of the stream, and I'll tell you right now, there ain't another horse.
No, I'm talking not changing in the middle of the stream, but
Jesus. I know, but any
When we go
things
into a
we've
next
already
stream.
got other things going, we put out RFPs just to see if there is anybody, because I got other communities calling, want to know how much longer we're gonna have them, because they're trying to get somebody to come. They're losing grant money because they can't get their jobs done. So, I mean, it's just the world we're in today.
yeah, well, like the electricians at Horton, I was hearing all the time, it's like, they wouldn't show up till 11, 12, you know, something like that, because they're driving up from Alamogordo every day.
Yep.
but
or Las
they didn't-
Cruces,
They
the,
didn't want to start early,
That'll-
so they get there and they work for 3-4 hours. That's why it takes forever
I
to
know, it's,
get anything done.
we gripe about it and push them, and then all they do is they show up later the next day.
But this could definitely, you know, the situation we're in with Wingfield, it could push it back.
We need
To
to make sure there's
opening date.
performance standards in the contracts and hold them to it.
Well, and you can do that, but I'm just talking about, and, you know, it's with the subcontractors, they come in on time, but then they have delays like on the concrete, which have been justified. You just can't get concrete.
I understand.
And
Maybe if we had a
then,
concrete
and
plan.
then, the other ones that we went in, we were working with down here with some of the material that we were trying to wait on P&M before we could do the roads. You know, and so that wasn't White Sands' fault. You know, there's just always.
No,
a
there's
finger.
justified, you know, just like when we have some of the contractors coming back and want an extension of time, there's times that it's justified, other times it's not.
Yeah, it's like Mosen Corman's wanting to really talk to you if you're available for lunch next week. They wanna
Yeah.
see if they could get that $68,000.
They want to talk to you?
Yeah,
I'm busy.
I'm making that up.
Oh, I was like, oh my
Because
gosh,
they're really sore at
that
us.
is
man.
funny.
oh, yeah.
Are they? Good.
Yeah, well,
It's not the only project, but,
yeah, we're hammering on my other stuff.
all
too.
of them, so.
Good. Good.
Okay.
They deserve to be sore. So sore that they can't sit down.
We've been talking about at the procurement meeting, I use it as an example. Public information, public everything, I use it as an example. And other people were going, they're terrible.
Judy, so, you know, we had that 750,000. I know we've probably already used all of that.
No, I have to draw down, I have 124,000 left on the
I
legislative
was just wondering
appropriation.
how much we're gonna have to do the outside of, you know, the plants and, do the paving and.
Well, they've got the concrete already in there, and the paving, is it included in on that, what we've already got?
It was included in the, right now in the scope, yes.
Did you ever figure out, you know, where they've cut down by the house to,
They're
on the
gonna bring
driveway
in base course,
and bring it back up?
compact it. And anyway, it's gonna be level, but there's gonna be a little step-up curb onto the sidewalk from the tattoo side. Is that what he told us? You know, the sidewalk's gonna
Yes.
run around,
Yeah.
and then how it's cut down that far, they're
Yes.
gonna put base course and all that, but didn't he say there would be a little lip or something?
Okay.
That's what John was saying, yes.
Okay.
And then they have that hole dug, they're gonna put a light.
Light
It's gonna be
pole.
out there.
Yes,
But that's gonna be, that's not, we thought that was parking. We're like, how's that gonna, it's not gonna be
No,
parking.
that's concrete,
It's a
you know, right
patio.
there in front of the radio station.
Be a
Yeah.
There's a
patio.
big old hole, and I thought, this is stupid, and I realized that's all walkway and pathway.
Right.
And the parking's back out.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be level with the other pavement that's over at,
That's a lot of fuel that's gonna go up.
yeah, over at Ace Hardware. So they're hauling back in and packing a lot.
Okay.
So is that already encumbered under the White Sands contract already?
Yes.
So whatever's encumbered is all the money that we have for Wingfield House.
So it's gone.
So there's no more money. If there is additional work over what's already encumbered, it would have to be an allocation from general fund.
Okay, now what?
So where did you want to go to next?
Start with legislative.
Oh, legislative, okay.
I don't know, is it just me or is the bond grown about 4 inches?
What's going on?
You guys must have some high heels
Got
on.
our stacks on there.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council.
Hello.
Okay, we'll start with legislative.
Okay, legislative.
These people increased their budget like crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Amazing.
This one had all the raises also on the legislative.
$5,000 a year.
Okay, so we'll
I would say
start with.
this
ads and
department needs Department of the Quarter, because
Yeah.
they did the best.
No,
that
I agree with that.
We're always too busy to nominate.
No, that's a great, yes.
Okay, so, on the 101, 51,000, we'll start there. And that's ads and publications, so that, $108,000, that's the cost to send out the newsletter every month.
For a year.
$108,000 a month?
No, a year.
Year.
Yeah.
A year.
No, to send it out every month.
No, a year.
Jeez, I knew it was high, but I had no
Month.
idea.
You always have a heart attack.
Could we start selling ad space in it?
But that's the yearly cost.
Well, we'd have to print more pages.
I was gonna say, yeah, why not put ads in that thing?
Well, we
Put
could
a real high
reduce
price on
We
it.
could reduce that picture on the front.
That's true.
Yeah, you took off our pictures, we
Yeah.
need to take yours off.
I'm all about it. Yeah, I think so.
But that is such.
Yeah, I get a lot of
Oh, so
positive.
do I.
People talk about
Yeah.
it.
You could sell an ad in that sucker for a pretty good dollar, because more people read it than they do the Ruidoso News.
We're also we found another printer, the state printing office, who knew they had their own printing office?
Oh, yeah. That's how they make the money.
Are they even working? Are they coming into the office? Are they printing from home still?
I don't know, but we're gonna get a quote to see if they can do the
see if we
same
can
kind
get
of
it
job cheaper.
And Mayor, I received that from AJ because I was asking AJ who did their newsletter, and he said that's state printing, so that's what they reached out
Oh,
to
I
him.
thought
so.
they only did New Mexico government, state government printing.
AJ said they would just call them and get a quote from them. They're wanting work.
There's a lot of cars in their parking lot when I've driven by, so.
Yep.
They're,
Printing away?
yeah.
We saved quite a bit on just the envelopes that we send out, our utility billings and everything. We saved quite a bit of money, so we, instead of just buying a portion, we bought the whole year because it was the same price.
Okay, that's good. Nicole, do you have anything to add?
No, I think,
She wasn't even surprised, was she? No?
No, I know all this, yes, I'm aware
Do
we're gonna
you
be,
wanna go?
well, okay, yeah, I'll take it. So, any questions on the newsletter? Okay. So subscriptions and dues, you can see the breakdown underneath there. So we budgeted 27,300 for this
So
upcoming
they
year.
don't have the breakdown.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
in a separate
okay.
email, so if you wanna just.
Tell us what are the subscription dues? Is that for like, New Mexico League? and-
Yep, the New Mexico Municipal League Chamber of Commerce annual dues, and then what is that one, Yvonne?
The, SMED,
Oh, yeah,
SMID.
The cog.
the
Yeah.
COG, yeah.
And it went up slightly because of the New Mexico Municipal League dues are based on population, I believe. that
gross
we-
receipts tax.
Yeah,
they
so that
they
went,
up.
that went up a little bit, so that put us at 27,300 for
And-
this year.
And then we put like a 250 extra just in case something else goes up that we didn't know about.
Good.
Yep. All right, and then the next line item, uniforms. So in case anybody needs some
What
uniforms.
uniforms?
Well,
Well,
like if
for
you're a
counselors.
new council member that needs shirts or.
What laundry service are we using?
I just know it's
Your
Tracy's
laundry
Laundry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's Darren's laundry service. I want payback.
All right, office supplies and postage, we just kept the same, 500. Got that. And then the special projects, that one is at 15,000.
What is that? What is the
Yeah,
special
so
project?
that is, the mixer that you have. It is, the Christmas float and everything that we throw out. Any kind of tables that we get, like for the
the chamber banquet or the
Okay.
blue and gold banquet.
Yes.
All those things, that's where we
like
take that out of special
Yeah, this
projects.
is a.
Okay.
So that went
you-
down.
Went
quite a
down,
bit.
well, we bought a bunch
Well-
of stuff to throw away, and we didn't get to throw it away, so we have that for next year.
That went up, actually.
Well,
Where are we
yeah,
at?
but
It went down
what we currently spent this
14,000,
current year,
13,000.
that's what I think he's looking
10.
at. It went down because
Yeah,
of.
10.
Well, we moved all of his contingency fund into that line item too this year, because we didn't have enough.
We didn't have enough?
No.
Oh, so that came out of my fund?
That came, so we used your contingency and your special projects for that.
Yeah, so that's where we get the vests and the shirts and stuff.
Yes, and paid for the food and,
Well, hopefully the mayor's fund gets funded again. Right?
so, yeah, so then we kept
I don't
your
see anything for
contingency the
mayor's
same
fund.
as well.
Yeah.
That's under bad debt expense.
Because you can
Deals
see we
everybody in
spent
town.
$26,000 for the year in that account. And we only had budgeted 15, so we had to move all of the contingency plus some of Ron's contingency over to there too.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Yeah.
Where's the contingency?
It's
right
the
underneath
next-
the next
right
line.
below
The next line.
10,000.
Oh, right there, yeah.
51,400.
Yeah, see, it's got 10 grand in it below it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Contractual services,
Wow.
that went up.
So I don't remember exactly why well, no, I do. That's Carrie's PIO contract, and that went up, and it's also everything that the Internal Finance Committee awards.
Oh, okay.
Like, the Boys and Girls Club, Redosa Midtown Association, Juvenile Justice Center. I mean, those all haven't been given yet, but they will be.
Right.
From the IFC,
The Internal Finance Committee?
we award it?
No, well, the council does.
Yeah, they make the
Yeah,
recommendations.
they come to us first, but also like Humane Society is included in there.
No, Humane Society comes from the police.
Oh,
If they want any additional, that's
But,
where that
but
comes
now we lump sum it and then they come to the financial to make a presentation and then
Make a request,
it comes to the council.
Yeah, we used to list the
youth
agencies down
restoration
here,
or
and
restorative
now we
youth.
don't.
Kind of like Lodgers Tax does.
Yeah.
They go to Lodgers Tax Committee and then it's approved by council.
But still, that went up $27,000
We're gonna need that.
over last year.
Carrie's contract went up.
Oh, it went up that much? Okay.
And I do know of Lawrence and I, Chief Chavez, and I know of one that the Lincoln County Juvenile Justice, we've split off from going through CYFD. And so with the county and Ruidoso Downs and us and hopefully Ruidoso Schools, we're going to, because most of our funds was going to CYFD administrative costs. And so we can do this on our own with better programs. We don't have to go through all the red tape. And I think that they're going to be asking us for $10,000.
So is,
was it 5 before?
And I think it was, it'd be.
I think we did,
$500, because we did, $7,500.
yes,
right,
20,
right.
yeah, we did, last year, I think we did 7,500.
And there was a few years ago that they never even billed us for it.
Well, because they've,
Yeah, they
it's
had
been
some
under
issues
some,
going on.
yeah.
It's now going under
Phil
Region 9.
Jones
Yeah.
is in charge of it now. He's the executive
Yeah.
director, and he's doing a great
He
job.
keeps asking me to come, and it's like every time he does, then every time they have a meeting, I have something else going on. The one time I was able to go, they had to reschedule the meeting. So,
Well, so is this program doing you good?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does we're being, instead of reactive, this is being more proactive. It's getting those kids that, before they get to the jails and that kind of stuff, that we can grab them. The schools recommend us. There's different agencies.
successes?
So this
Yes.
is the thing, is there, if we.
Like some of those kids that you're having to deal with at the school?
Yeah, they're able to use alternative methods to get them treatment, and get them other resources.
Yes.
To curb their actions. If they go underneath the CYFD grant, the reporting on it is so, they waste most of their time on administrative fees because of the reportings. And their hands are tied whenever they use that money. But if they use, this money and fund it on their own, they can do some more.
So give me an example. We got a kid that's, like what you've had to deal with at school, that you send them to them. What kind of a
So
program?
this is the whole thing, is like, we have one kid in it right now, he's on a long-term suspension. So he's been kicked out of school numerous times. The last time that he was kicked out, it was for, threats within the school district, so they kick him out the rest of the year. So the school district, if they do a long-term suspension, it's only for that calendar school year. So if he got kicked out right now in a long-term suspension, he would go for 4 weeks, and then next August, he's right back into the system. Well, this group, they would be able to actually go work with him and provide him resources and do visits and follow-ups because of the 409s, I think it is, or whatever it is, if they're already identified as problem children within the schools, they kind of keep a tight grip on them. But this program will actually allow them to go visit with them and, hey, that's not
So-
the right
We
thing.
offer more tools to
Yeah.
provide
What
to
are the
them.
teeth in it if the kid is not responding?
They're working with JPO, so
Yeah.
JPO does sit on the board with us.
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
it's-
So who are they? The board is JPO?
It's, the Juvenile Justice Board is what it is.
Okay.
And it's run through Region 9. Phil Smith is the guy that's running
Phil
it.
Jones.
Phil Jones, I'm sorry. And, there's the PD, there's a couple of,
Sheriff, the
ministers
sheriff
from- yeah, the
department,
sheriff,
Iris
yeah.
comes to, or he zooms in at every meeting.
Yeah, Iris sits on the board also.
Yes,
yeah.
So is that Ted Allen, is that his name? Is he with them anymore?
I don't think that he
Sort of,
does
but
those
not really.
circles.
Yeah, he's not part of all that.
I haven't seen his
that.
name in a while.
Is that like Alan Theater guy?
On staff
No.
that they-
No, Ted Allen's out of Roswell. He works
Yeah,
with the
and he-
Assurance Home.
And he does the circle.
So it's a good deal. I just
I think
am not
it's
familiar at all with it.
So I will say that my experience with them wasn't good. Now it's being run in a much better fashion.
All right,
Well, plus we're trying to get the buy-in of the Lincoln County schools.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because, and of course, Red also
Yeah.
has the most kids that, so we're trying, we have a school board member that's on. And so to get the buy-in, because it's helping them.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I feel like it's a very good,
I had experience with
So,
them way back
I
when I
wonder
was
if I could be
working for
invited
the
to
juvenile drug
sit in
court.
on one of those meetings because
absolutely.
It was kind of a joke.
I was part of that a while
That's
back.
what I've
and
heard.
But these programs
it was
are preventative
not
programs.
that effective.
It's, okay, you
please,
screwed
I'll
up,
let you know.
let's
few
go
years
ahead and
ago.
work on correcting that
So,
behavior
but,
so you don't actually enter the
I
the
even
justice
ran that.
system. Yeah.
He got up and left. He said,
What-
man, that's a waste of my time.
yeah, Chief, don't you think that,
So years ago, I sat on that board and then I quit going for a long time because it was like.
A joke. This is what these guys were saying.
And then, probably the last year, especially after, Mr. Jones took it over, he came out and he called us and reached out and visited. In fact, we went and had lunch whenever he first took it over. I know I'll give you a chance because you have some good ideas and stuff. And he's proven to really be successful with these kids. And he has them split up into the boys circle and the girls circle. So he's able to provide each one of them individual resources that he wouldn't typically be able to provide them if he didn't have this fund.
So pay for counseling.
Yeah.
he works as a children, youth person,
Yeah, he was
mentor
the
for
pastor
the,
the youth minister for,
I should know this guy.
Angus.
Angus
Have you guys
Church.
seen him?
Bald-headed guy?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, his daughter just got married? Or had a baby?
He's a track coach. He's a
just
track
had a
coach
baby.
captain, Yeah. Real nice guy.
Real preemie baby. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's married to a realtor, Rhonda Burns' son.
Yeah, the way it used to be run is like girl circle or boys, I can't remember, they're not both circle, one's a
No.
circle, one's something else.
Yeah.
But they needed a minimum of like 8 kids to
No,
be able
now,
to do it.
now it's 4 to 5.
Now they've changed that and
Yeah.
lowered that because
Yeah.
they had their minimum number so big, they couldn't do
Yeah.
anything. Now they've shrunk it down and they'll provide services to a smaller group and be able to provide those services that are needed.
How do they
Even what
address
you're
the,
describing
the
is
at-home
when I was
circumstance
there.
of these
Well, I
kids?
just hadn't heard anything good, and that was years ago.
They
Yes.
do frequent visits with them, and, they're able to make contact with them, make sure that they're doing the online school, because if they do get kicked out long-term, it's not like back in the day when we'd get kicked out and you'd get all zeros and everything. Now they have to provide them a platform to turn in their work and do the right thing. So they do have, they're able to go and make home visits and make sure that they're
Oh, I see.
working, and if they need help, they're able to help them and say, hey, look, we can get you a tutor, come over here, or whatever it is, so they are able to provide those services.
We could ask Sergio Castro and Phil to come and give you a little presentation if
I'd
you'd like
prefer
to.
Phil more than Sergio, to be honest with you.
I'd rather go to one of the meetings.
And you're
Just
welcome.
check it out.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But I think it would be a good thing to have Phil come to the meeting, maybe at our next meeting and talk about it, what they're doing.
Yeah, because it's all new to me. I mean, this one is new. The
And I would
last one I heard
recommend-
wasn't
I
any
feel-
good.
The June meeting, because I could text him and see if he, the May
May.
meeting, is it too late to get him here for a presentation?
It could either go under the mayor.
We got plenty of time,
Okay, I'll
because we're setting the agenda tomorrow. Is that right?
Council meeting?
Looking at it.
Was it the June?
Phil.
Phil Jones, Phil Jones.
Frank, Fred, no. Phil.
Phil Jones. I didn't write that down for my notes for the meeting. Okay.
Yeah, Phil Jones. We'll put him down. We'll contact him and we'll need, because we're doing the agenda
got
review
his.
tomorrow. So we'll put him on there.
JJ.
And
Thank
within
you.
that, we broke
Sergio.
down in that account who usually comes and asks for money, and then we did $15,000 miscellaneous, because we don't know who else is gonna come.
Right.
So that's what that encumbers in that contractual services line item. The next is, the legal fees, and that pays Zach's contract. It's $160,000.
I think that looks budgeted, but it's less than that.
Yeah. He bills out, that's the max.
And then the telephone charges, that went up because that's your cell phone bill now.
Oh, just mine?
You're the only one on council.
$630?
A year.
And then it's long-distance charges from your phone line, but you probably barely ever have any.
It's really not that much.
$88 on your landline so far.
I
so.
still don't get this
That's
long
$50 a month.
distance charges.
I don't understand long distance
We
either.
got VoIP, there should be no long distance.
Well, it's on this phone.
There should be no long
on
distance on
your-
cell phone.
On your landline too,
Your landline?
My landline?
on your phone in
That's
your
VoIP.
office.
There's no long distance.
Why do we get charged long distance?
That'll make a lick of sense.
Somebody's making some money.
They're padding the budget right there, 630 right there. Yeah.
Unless it's 600 plus GRT or something, or I don't know, taxes, I don't know.
Well, I just thought, because we got the phone free and then it's $50 a month?
It's like 40-something.
Wow.
Robin did that budget in there.
43.
Yeah.
Oh,
But it's, we have to carry
carrying
them.
2 phones now?
We got to. You hit for me one more time and I'm not giving you my granny's special messages to her nubbin. I'm not done it. You can have to subpoena me.
So,
Daggone.
what number is that one?
You should have it. I don't even know
Oh,
what
is
it
that
is.
the one?
Oh,
I should have it.
That's the mayor's,
It's just the mayor phone, so the next guy gets, the lucky guy gets it too.
So,
Or girl, or a girl.
so we want to know which one IPRA you on.
Well, this one you can kiss my Emperor. See, this one you just get, here you go. This one's private.
Let's just kiss my IPRA.
Yeah.
so when we're talking to you, do we have to use your mayoral phone?
No, because yours aren't Emperable. It's private, but all my texts and everything that have to do with village, emails, any phone calls, conversations come to this phone.
Okay.
But if we're calling you on village business, we should be calling the,
Yeah, you should call that one.
yeah, you need to
But
send
how
us
do
all
we
your
know
phone
that?
number.
We don't know
She
it.
sent out an email, it's right here.
You want me to read?
I'm just saying,
Oh, is
it's
that
already
when it
gone
says
out.
the new email, the new phone number? Oh,
Yeah, your
I just
F-
go,
Your FYIs, yeah.
The double SIM card?
I'll start
I'll
reading
text you
those,
guys all
Nicole.
my new number
Has
too.
everybody's
Yeah.
number.
They don't work that well?
combines your text.
Let me see, what is it?
Oh,
Sake.
That's crazy.
We We ready?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You see, we get off track a little bit. Don't worry about it. No worries.
Okay, so travel, we left it the same, 10,000.
Okay.
Registration fees for your conferences, we bumped it up a little, 1,500. The rent of land, that's Moon Mountain, and it goes up every year a certain percentage, so it's gonna be 5,700 this next year.
I don't understand rent of land.
Yeah, we don't own that.
We don't
State
own
owns it. Moon Mountain, we've tried to
Oh,
buy it,
yes.
remember?
Yes, I remember.
25-year lease.
Sorry.
We're just leasing it, that's all they do.
Yep.
You know what? That's where we could put the admin office for fire department.
They go moose hunting.
Then they can look in on
No,
this.
no, you're fine.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to clerk.
This is, 2 FTEs.
Ads and publications, and we put that at 4,500 this year. Jenny said there was an increase in public hearings and people applying for a liquor license, so there was more for us to publish. And we were having to publish with Albuquerque Journal sometimes, and they were a little more expensive, so we bumped that up so that we had enough to cover that. Subscriptions and dues, that's all our memberships to the Municipal League, IIMC, which is the International Institute of Clerks, and now we're paying for OptiSigns, which is our TV out here that we post all of our notices on.
Which is very nice.
Postage, we took that down a little bit to 600 because we weren't spending near what we were asking for before. Office supplies, $4,000, we kept that the same. Okay, election. Last year, we didn't have a budget for election. The year before, we spent a little over $9,000. We put it at 11,000 with everything going up. We just wanted to make sure we had enough money to run our election. Contractual services, that is the destruction of records. And that's $3,000. If you see the year before, we had it at $9,800. That's because we were paying for MuniCode and Laserfish out of that line item. Jenny thought that that should go to a different line item, so we moved that out of there. So you'll see an increase in another line item. So we moved that to $3,000. Recording and lien fees we have at $750. We went up a little from $500. We are going through the liens and cleaning them up and doing a bunch of releases, so we anticipated having more liens.
Releasing liens?
They expire after so many years, so
Yeah, you just refile them. If they owe us money, they owe us money.
I guess we could talk about that too.
We've been, trying to get we need to just sit down with Zach again, cause he was saying that after 3 years, if we don't foreclose, they're no good.
And you can't refile them? Then why are we cleaning and leaning and cleaning? Cleaning and leaning?
Is that property ours?
No,
No.
you have to foreclose the lien and.
You have to be able to collect on it before. I don't believe that.
That's what he told us, but we
I
can
don't-
visit with him.
So,
again.
yeah, we'll sit down. and
I'll have to
the
talk to him about
conversation.
that because you can refile them. If you let them expire, you're the idiot.
I thought it was just that it needs to be renewed.
You just renewed.
Yeah. And I thought we've had that discussion and told him to
Yeah.
make sure we renew them then.
Yeah, to make sure that we're renewing them, because why would we spend $60,000 on a clean and lien if they just have to live there 3 more years? And it makes no sense. I call it bull.
So we'll
So,
sit down and.
Make a note on that for,
We'll sit down with
Zach.
Zach and talk about that.
yep.
Telephone.
I don't understand that one either.
No, I do.
6:30.
2 phones times
Two
630.
phones, yeah, 2 cell phones.
Mm.
So you carry 2 phones too?
Yeah, she and,
Jenny.
anybody that's getting IPRID, that all the times and that has a phone, yeah, Ron's got one.
I do too.
Chief's got one.
Oh, my God.
Those used to, we would pay a stipend, a stipend for you to use your own personal phone.
Yeah,
And-
yeah, so now we don't get a stipend, but we have to carry our 2 phones.
Yeah.
It's
Because
hard on the weekends,
if
cause
it's
you're
your
like, it's
phone
the
and there's an
weekend,
IPRA and you
but
refuse,
Ron needs to get
They
home
can
and you have
subpoena
to
it.
it's
put
the
your phone.
village that gets dinged on it.
Well, they'll subpoena you.
Well, they can,
Yeah.
but still.
Because that's the thing that we just went through, is it was a private phone.
Right.
And he refused to give it over, so they could subpoena it, and so that we're letting them handle all that. And then it's like, well, we were doing what we were told to do at the time,
Right.
so.
Travel and schools, we went down on that from 6,000 to 4,500.
Well,
And
even
that's
at
just-
4,500, you haven't spent that much in the last few years.
So we were all, there were supposed to be a few of us last year that went to the conference that Ginny and I just went to, but the fire happened. So Ron and I couldn't go to it, so we would have spent probably about, maybe 2,000 more, but still not close to that.
Well, and then you're gonna be doing more, I'm
Yes, I'm
assuming.
trying to get my certification.
Yep.
So,
We have election school coming up also.
and then we have, yeah, and we have election school this year.
Oh, you're just getting right in there, aren't you?
I'm trying. Okay, equipment maintenance is, we went down from 4,800 to 1,000. I'm not even sure what they were spending it on before. I guess, scanner, they were having their scanners fixed, and we don't think we need that. So we went down to 1,000 just in case, but we don't anticipate needing it. We have the big scanners we can use, so we don't need those.
Equipment, if the, one of the audio, the AV equipment in
right.
for the meetings or whatnot, we had that one unit go out.
Right.
So we had to purchase that, so we thought we would just be prepared and,
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's right, Ron. Software maintenance, that's where we moved all of the stuff that we had previously had in contractual services. So that's gonna be, Civic Plus and Muni Code where we codify all the ordinance and resolutions. And then, Granicus where we do our, meeting. And Laserfish where we scan all of our documents into. And I have a breakdown of what all those cost, and it adds up to that number right there.
Well, that was great. We went from one department that had the smallest percentage increase to the one that has the biggest percentage increase.
And I just had a question, you know, in your conference room, is there a reason you can't have a bat phone in there? You know what I mean? The three-legged phone that locks into the system, anyone at the table can talk and be heard. The way we're doing it now is passing one or the other of those phones around so that whoever's on the phone call can hear. Not the Zoom call, I'm just calling in.
Conference room, I'm sure we could.
so Judy, I spoke to Robin, you know, we wanted a conference phone on that conference table that we could connect to our system. That way, those really work well. We're just using a cell phone, you can't hear off of it.
Okay, so I didn't know you guys were doing that, okay.
Have a conference call, those really work great because you can, the dialogue's
Yeah, we
back
can
and
do
forth and you hear. There should be a way to get that.
Yeah.
All right, can we move on to admin?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, Nicole?
Okay.
And going back to the, Counselor Coughlin, you said that was the highest increase, is because there was only one employee that was,
Yeah.
okay. You just,
You feel that little
And
tug, he's
and we
pulling
have
your leg.
election this year.
No, he's pulling Yvonne's leg.
Oh, that's right, he's pulling Yvonne's leg.
It's all right.
Okay. So the first line item in admin, the overtime salaries stays the same. It was at 2,500.
and that's for my overtime, so.
Not very much.
Is this for 3 FTEs? Yes.
Yes, please.
And who is that?
Ron, this
Right.
one.
And then the deputy.
And who?
Future deputy.
Oh, the future deputy.
Got
And
it.
the
I
overtime
knew
will
that.
just cover Nicole, because the other two are
Sure.
salaries.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And then down to ads and publications. We went up to 8,055 from the 3,115. Mainly, I did a breakdown over here because we got into a contract with Flash Vote. Do they do the surveys?
Uh-huh.
So that is $4,900 a year. So that's what bumped us up.
Okay, I
Is there,
don't, what do you mean?
Flash vote, it's where they, like Survey Monkey, where they send out these surveys when we were talking about different ones.
Yeah, okay.
is there,
This one is
I was
contract.
thinking of land
is
survey.
there
and I
a
was like,
limit to the number of those that we can do? 'Cause
Uh,
we've only used it a couple of times.
What was the last time we did for the links here?
No, there was
No,
another
we
time
didn't,
since
we
then.
just do it,
One of a
didn't
couple
Carrie
months
do
ago.
it?
Carrie has the administrative rights to it, so I'm not exactly sure
Didn't she
what the
do it
last one
for
we used
the,
was.
She did it for her presentation that
Yeah.
she was doing,
Yep.
but it seems like we've only used it 2 or 3 times, and if we're spending $5,000, we should
We
use
should
it
use it more.
more.
I don't know the answer to that question. Could you make a note and find that out?
Yeah.
They just now just started it because they just switched over from
Yeah.
Survey Monkey to Flash Vote.
Yeah.
Flash vote was back when we did the thing for the links.
Was it? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Don't give me the line. Okay.
Okay, next one, postage, 300, up from 50 for last year, just for increases. Next line, general office supplies, we increased to 2750, in case we need to bump that up.
We have a new employee coming.
Yeah, we have a new employee, the deputy manager, in case we need to order for them. General supplies, so that is for, like the landlord of the building, which is me, for all of the, like copy paper, water, coffee, catering meetings, all of that. So we had 20,000 last year, we're at 25,000 this year. We've had to move some into that, so we bumped it up a bit.
Actually, you were at 25.5 last year. You went down $500.
Oh, we did a BCR last year.
Okay.
Yeah, initially it was a 20,000 and then we moved some money into it, so now we're at 25,000 this new year. So hopefully that will eliminate a BCR. And then the next one, janitorial supplies for Village Hall. The cost anticipated going up, so it was at 5,000 last year. The year-to-date activity was already higher, so we went up to 7,500, and they're transitioning to the green cleaning supplies.
So are y'all getting it for the whole?
Yes.
Village
Oh,
Hall,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
The green cleaning supplies?
Yeah, you know, poof.
That was, one of the requirements.
Yeah, stuff you can squirt in your mouth.
That was a requirement in the AOC lease that they had to be green cleaning supplies or something.
So,
So then they
So-
made everybody just change to the same supplies.
So that way we, yeah.
No toxic chemicals.
They're supposed to be cheaper.
In
It's
the long
supposed
run.
to
supposed to
end
be
up
cheaper,
saving
but our
us
budget
money.
went
The
up.
common thing I hear is supposed to.
Supposed to.
supposed
Green
to?
stuff is
It's
never
like organic,
cheaper.
it's better for you.
Smell to it. They have a smell.
And that is very
doesn't smell.
important.
It doesn't smell clean, but
That won't be happening.
Spearmint makes me sick.
Okay, so next one, utilities, 22,000 for this year's budget, up a bit from the 20,000. And then the next line item, fuel, stayed the same, 3,500. Contingency, we did the same as before, the 50,000.
And that contingency helps all the departments within general fund if they need something.
Okay,
It's not just used.
So if they didn't write something down, hey, we've got to have this, and so we go to that contingent.
If they don't have any options in their own budget, then
It's a
we
buffer.
go from there.
Got it.
It actually it more than doubled. The 22-23 budget
Well,
was
so we won't
23.
expend it through here. We won't expend the money here, so if Parks and Rec needs 3,000, we'll decrease it from here and put it in Park and Rec's budget.
So this 23,476 is a
Is our
decreased.
remaining budget that we have left in the
remaining-
current.
Oh, that makes it so hard to track. Okay.
yeah, because it doesn't get expended out of that account, just move straight from it, so you.
Just transfer the money over
Yeah.
and then, okay. Because when I look here, I'm looking at what the budget was for previous years.
Yeah.
We've used it already twice. This is actually, we had 100,000 in there.
Okay,
So it's truly just a balance forward.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then on your non-cap furniture, fixtures, and equipment, remember, I gotta get an armed, no wheels chair
Yes.
for Shirley. I just
And
now remember. And soon, yeah.
Arms, no chair.
The little old lady that she has to have something she can push up off of.
So you know what I was thinking is,
Yes,
VP lady?
yes.
Yes.
For the,
I think there
community
might
center.
be, over at the Horton in the conference room where we had the meetings for a little bit, I think there might be some chairs
It have arms on it?
That
We have
need.
some in the front, right here.
And make sure no wheels. She was very adamant about that.
This guy had no wheels.
Old,
Well, I don't remember promising it, but by golly, we're getting it now.
Well, yeah, there were witnesses to that.
Well, I mean, at this last meeting.
She went around the table.
Yeah, the first time, I don't remember it, so, but I'm gonna get her one. I just thought of that and looked at those chairs. I was thinking about taking one of those out of here.
But in the meantime, I'll check tomorrow when I get back over there. I think there's some there. We can load one up and take it over for her. in the
Yes.
meantime To get her something quick.
Yes, please, that would be awesome. Just let me know.
I'll tell her, the mayor keeps
Mary
having it
dropped the
on, so
ball.
I
I'm
took-
picking
I
it
took
up.
care of this for you.
The mayor said you had to have wheels.
Yes. Okay, well, thanks for all your help.
What's the contractual services?
So that is, outside legal fees, sometimes Ron
If we need a
gets
survey.
contracts an attorney to come in
Like
and help him
Dina.
with other stuff,
Dina.
or a survey, or an appraisal on
Wouldn't
a.
that be professional
property
services?
line. We take it out of that.
See, but that's the debate, it's been all day, contractual as opposed to
We-
professional.
We
need
have
to-
15,000
We need to
in
define that
professional.
better and get everybody on the same page.
Professional is like if if he has a license, then it's a professional.
Correct. Like legal is professional.
Attorney
Like I'm a
or an
professional when
appraiser?
they contract with me.
Contractual services would be like,
It's a service.
contractual services would be like pest control that we do a contract with.
So what do we have in contractual?
Everything.
Okay, what do we have in?
It's a contract, basically, so it's up to interpretation. Sometimes people think.
Well, what is in
maybe
professional?
Professional usually means that they have some kind of license.
So you're saying that's where we have, like, when we call Nina and the other lawyers, that's where that's at?
Not for Dina, on this one, it could
She's
be,
HR.
what is that other lawyer's name?
Also, there's Coppler.
Cobbler, that too.
Mark Beatty.
Coppler
Or the
wouldn't
guy in
be
Portales?
out of the,
Mark Bailey.
JUB or out of the,
There's one in Roswell too.
We've been using them just for other, say if we needed him to do something else, we'll call him.
That would be.
okay, so if we can just get a definition of what contractual services are, so we know that we're consistent through everything, because we have that question.
Okay.
And then professional service, very consistent, so we know what we're doing.
And then doing surveys, and then also surveys for some of the properties, and then doing appraisals. So that's
Okay.
part of it.
Okay, yeah, if we'll just get a list of that, so you'll have that for the meeting.
Okay.
So we'll know what we're talking about. And we need to take that, department-wide
Yeah.
to make sure
They
that,
need to do some adjustments in their
yeah,
budgets.
because I have a feeling in some of the
It's all over the
other
place.
departments that we're in, that we might have them close, confused. So if we'll just get all that squared away, so we know.
We may be the only ones that's confused.
Well, obviously, but if you can get me lined out, then Igmo Reynes can do it too, so.
Okay.
It's just, I just get confused over that every
I think that we just
time.
kind of go and see what we paid out of there last year, and that's kind of, we just go with
But then
it.
if,
But you're right, we
if
need
we're
to
mixing and
know.
matching, if the definition, that's what I want is a definition, if it's licensed professional that we call on a at-will basis is one thing, as opposed to somebody that we have a annual contract or, one or two or three renewals on some. Okay.
23, 24 forward should all be consistent.
Yes.
Yeah, because you have departments, as I'm sitting listening, they're making their own definitions.
Well, and that's what yeah.
Okay, next line, recording lien fees. It's 2,000. That's for like titling company, right, Ron? Yes.
We've had to spend a lot of that for all of the easements, filings.
Oh, boy.
And we're.
Well, that should be,
Are we at 2,000, is there a reason? Are we anticipating doing that again?
those should be gone through, capital projects on, mitigation and all that.
Mayor, council, we paid all the different easements. We were just running them through the general fund on our part. We didn't, those weren't
Those
anticipated.
were short money anyway, is that your
Yes,
logic?
and they were not gonna be reimbursable from any type of FEMA project, so we just ran them to.
Have anything expensed in the current year for it? It's zero. So were we planning on paying something new?
I thought we were paying we might have been paying out of the other line item.
We might have.
But that's what we wanted to change it to make sure we had the right line item again.
That's what it- yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the next one, professional services at 15,000 for.
We've discussed that.
Yeah. Yep. And then the next one is the telephones. Went specific at 11,185 for the telephone management.
So is that like 11 phones? 12 phones?
That's 3 cell phones and the desk phones, so if we're
That's
not
a
paying long
lot.
distance, I don't understand.
Well, we need
Where
to,
the
we need to
charge-off
verify that, because if we're paying long distance, we're getting reamed.
Yeah, because the VoIP includes all that, and then we need to find out how many cell phones are on that one.
That's probably just
3.
the basic.
Should only be
the
3?
The basic, no, because you have to still pay for the phone line,
On
phone numbers.
on
not
the cell
long
phone,
distance.
on the cell
Right, so
phone.
it's just the phones.
Just the phone, here she comes,
Oh, it's the phone line.
the phone line.
So is that for phone lines?
The base phone line for the village, Village Hall comes through admin and has always been paid for all the departments here. in the
Okay, so
village.
that's the phone line
Yeah,
maintenance.
that's just the regular base phone lines for all departments here in Village Hall, and it's always been paid out of that phone line.
And so VoIP, long distance is included.
VoIP and the long distance, I'm hoping to get that eliminated by the end of this.
The only
fiscal year.
thing that we had to have was a landline for the security,
Yes, yes.
the old
And,
system.
when we get into IT here in a little bit, I'm still working on all of that, but, because, we're trying to get it all worked out, but we still have base phone lines in all of our buildings.
Okay, do you know how many cell phones are they included in on that number?
Cell phones are included in all the departments based on the department.
So under the telephone line item,
Yes,
There's just 3.
there's just 3.
yes.
That would be
All 3 of them.
me,
Yours, the manager,
Ron.
and the
Ron,
Yours
Ron,
is in
Nicole, and the
executive,
deputy
yeah.
manager.
Executive.
Okay.
And that's what
All right.
that's 630.
But even a landline for security, that can go cellular. You don't need a landline anymore.
I don't remember,
For the alarm system that's right?
yeah, it has to do with fire suppressions,
That can go cellular.
whatever it was.
It depends on the fire suppression company requirements.
Yeah, because we called and talked to,
Because Horton went to cellular when we
Okay.
had that alarm panel. Because there was no hard line over in
So
that
it
building.
just built into the,
Right. And like our alarm system over there is cellular, so they can go cellular.
The village, alarm system is now cellular, and so is the one at Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
so we don't even need a landline anymore.
So we're working that direction.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the next one, travel and school, we're at 12,000.
Okay.
Stayed the same from the previous year. Training and development, increased it slightly to 2,000 for this upcoming year. And then the next line, equipment rental, so being the landlord for the village hall, this is for the postage machine, and the 2 printers, the large one and the one, back that way. We increased it to 24,800. They said they are going up 10% in the maintenance and supplies for that. So that's where we had the slight increase for this upcoming year. And then the next line, vehicle maintenance, we had at 2,000. Previous year, we increased it to 3,000, being there might be a deputy manager coming on. And,
We need new tires on the Suburban.
we need new tires on the Suburban.
Really? I think things only got 19,000 miles on it.
Have you seen them burn out of here when? 5 o'clock?
Jerry has my other set of tires, they're the one with the studs on them, the little metal studs. I kept hearing that clicking sound once, and I was driving, I go, what's that sound? But I didn't know I had snow tires on.
Oh, jeez.
Alright, and the last line, the building and property maintenance, from 8,000 to 10,000 for this year. For materials for repairs, and included the maintenance on the HVAC as well in that for this building, and I think that's the only one, right?
And, last year we did 8,000, but this year we had already spent almost 10,000, so that's why we raised it up.
So is like Systems MD under contractual?
We don't pay for that.
Oh, they're in IT. Is that we have software maintenance, I was trying, what are we, when we're doing it this year, so what are we not maintaining, do y'all know?
Did we have it last year?
52,108, last year, you had 4,900.
Did we spend any of that last year?
Yeah, you spent, out of 5,000, you spent 4,900. So I was trying to figure out what do we,
I can go look at that account.
what do
real
we
quick.
have that we're not maintaining?
I'll have to look and see what it was.
Software maintenance.
Are you in Tyler right now, John?
Oh, yeah? No, I'm not, but I can.
Here, I have this detail. 5108 right here. Right? It doesn't have any.
I wanna see who we paid it to.
5108.
What was the line item again?
52,108.
Executive. Go right here to detail.
Spent 4,900, I was just curious, I mean, it's not,
Flash
That
vote?
was flash vote. We
Yeah, I
moved
was
it
gonna
up
say
to a
it's like
different
the
account.
flash
Yep.
amount.
That was the 4,900 for the flash vote.
that we paid for that is now maintained in
And we talked about it, it got moved to something else,
subscriptions
yeah.
and dues.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. So that answered that question. Anybody else on that? Okay. Is that it?
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, we have,
This is a one FTE. I kind of bumped up the salary because I believe there was gonna be a change in the scope
Yeah.
to not only be the person that visits the lodges, but also handles the, special events. So if that is not a base salary, please let me know. And then we just kept it kind of similar, subscriptions and dues, 5,000, postage, office supplies, 500, and then travel and schools right now. Whenever we do hire, the person, if we need to change those amounts, we can. But this was just a starting point.
Telephone, we don't have anything for the new budget?
No, but we can put in
They'll have to have a
a
cell
cell
phone.
phone, so we can put it in there.
Do we have any prospects?
We got a bunch of
We have a lot of
Oh,
applications.
we do?
applicants.
Yes.
And you're saying it's gonna be 55,860?
Is a start where we're looking.
I don't know if that is, I'm not sure what you
It's a
advertised
swag.
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's better to have something in there than nothing.
Because it said 88,009.
That was before when it was a director, tourism director.
Got it.
This would be more of a management that's gonna stay in touch with all the.
And they're gonna be housed in the village of Red Oso.
And they will also be hands-on with the lodgers and different departments like that. Also with all this cluster that we've got with Airbnbs and
Oversee
Evolves
the
and
special events
that
too.
are
the large-
refusing to pay, give us the reporting that
Yes.
law requires us to do. So they'll be in touch with some of that too. But it's more of a shaking hands and do whatever and then working on these special events with Sydney. You know, she does love the special events
Yes.
for the parks, but the
Yes.
big ones that come in, coordinating and whatever, so.
That's a great job.
I think it's fun to them.
I do too.
Okay,
Put in my application.
lodgers tax fund?
Right now, we have revenues budgeted at 2.5.
We're expected to hit 2.7?
2.7 this year, but we're gonna stay conservative. This budget was actually reviewed at the lodgers tax meeting. This is their recommendation. They've kept everything pretty much the same. Although, the contractual services, that's for their piece writer, the Alan Barone who writes the pieces, that's what that $25,000 is for. And then the 413,800 is Carrie's new contract amount. The visitor center did.
Where are you at now?
Oh.
I'm
I'm on page, behind the tourism department,
Lodgers tax?
lodgers tax, is on page 57.
Yeah.
The revenues is the first part, and then if you go to the next page, it starts their expenses.
The next page.
Yes.
Age.
You see it now?
Gotcha. Okay, contractual services.
That
That
is,
means we have a contract.
yes, with Alan Barone.
Alan Marone.
Alan Barone, she's the one that writes the pieces.
Oh, yes.
And then the media planning is Carrie's new contract.
Uh-huh.
And then the visitor center, did go up because they were asked to help man Wingfield House.
Mm-hmm.
And, this also includes Billy the Kid. And then on convention ads and, contract, that is currently set at the 65,000. And that's for the, person that's paid through, the hotel. The brochures, right now is at 110, and Yvonne, do you by chance have the detail? I can't remember what the brochures and that, why it went up so much.
Holy moly, yeah.
Yeah, from 3,000 to,
I believe she had several things in there, I can't remember,
the.
110,000?
Went from 17,000 to 110.
Brochures and trade show.
But meeting and advertising went way down.
I just went blank somewhere.
Marketing and advertising.
And that's because we're anticipating a co-op grant, what is it, a 1 for 2? We'll pledge this money, to get another $250,000 grant from
Yes.
New Mexico True. So
Yeah.
once we get that grant,
Then we'll adjust.
then we'll adjust at that
Yes.
point. And it looks like, she had some fam
FAM trip,
trips
familiarization trips.
at 30,000.
Yes.
And then she had some brochure expenditures for the pocket guide, at 2,000. The trail maps, they're gonna reprint them at 6,000. And then, we actually have a couple of contracts to distribute the visitor guides with Fun and Games and Southwest. They actually go to all the visitor centers throughout the state, and they put our visitor guides in all those, places. And then just some shipping costs at 300. There's also some, memberships to Ski New Mexico and New Mexico Hospitality. I probably need to break these out better into the corresponding, or did you?
We did that, that's the one that you sent me before we did that, sorry.
Oh, okay. And then, let's see. And then, there is, some video photography with Mark Stambaugh and Jake Rogers for 7,000, and then some, other photos and YouTube videos with Jared Foster at 3,000. So that was,
They do, and Carrie,
Okay.
and people on, they help her with, the team tourism, but
Got it.
the standby and those guys, or a lot of the photographs that they get that are on our, Ruidoso Facebook page and all that,
We
that
pay him?
we pay
Yeah.
them for those photographs.
Yeah.
And they've done a lot. What's the other guy's name that does the drones?
is that Jared Foster?
Jared Foster. He does some amazing, drone shots. You know, you've seen him flying out over the lake and down through Midtown and over Wingfield Park. He's licensed and all that.
If she can bring it in.
So he does a good job, but we upped that budget a little bit to
That
Get more.
Parkinson kid does good ones too.
Parkinson.
I can't think of his first name. But he does nice
But those are
work.
the two that she, talked about at the committee
And
meeting.
this is all funded through lodgers tax.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, the marketing and advertising, again, when we do get the co-op grant, then that'll go up. And then, they did set aside 120,000 for events, so at the first meeting, they just allocated a dollar value. They will have another meeting in May, I can't remember the date, where the actual events will come in, and actually make the pitches. And then they were also talking about putting a limit on the amount of funding that you could get and the number of years you could get it. But they also still wanted to keep a little caveat in the rule that if event is continually successful and it is growing and they still need help, they would want the latitude to fund them if the committee felt that it was a good use of funds.
Well, that could be a killer right there.
Well, they said there's so many people coming back every year going, oh, I need this money, and then they never saw any return. Don't know if it was doing any
They're
good or
not turning in their
Yep.
data to prove that, which they're supposed to do.
So Parks and Rec, that's, because we go to them for Parks and Rec stuff. right?
Yeah. But, like special events and stuff, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they proved that. They have all the data, they have
But
the tickets sold.
120,000 doesn't look like very much.
Well, they
at
just
all.
funded 300 and,
That would
How
be
much?
like Ryder Odoso, the
Three-
tattoo.
for us?
emporium.
yeah,
For us, it's 335. This is for everybody else.
yeah.
And I think the max amount is only 5,000.
Yeah, but they were looking at the possibility of even doing a little more.
Yes.
But getting rid of that tiered system.
Yeah.
Because it just wasn't working. But that, they had and then starting to standardize, going back to the standard of here's our presentations, here's our awards. And because it seems like it was always the exception was becoming the rule with, hey, I didn't get my stuff in time, I need a special meeting because I need $5,000. And then they did a
Yes,
meeting and then
yes.
they showed up and didn't have any documentation.
So she did actually develop an application online where you'll have to go, and it does ask for some of that information up front before you even finish your application. You have to give your attendance numbers, how you got them, what the economic impact, and then I believe she did also say that she has a tool from New Mexico Department of Tourism where it takes those data points and expands to show how much money it brought into your community
Oh,
for that,
nice, yeah.
which,
Turnover.
Yeah.
which they'll have even before the committee actually sees the
And if it's a
application.
new one and you don't have historical data, you show where you're gonna do your marketing, what's all the different things that'll tie to it, because they come in and like last year, they said, this rally had 15,000 some people, and we know they didn't have it.
Yeah.
And they didn't show where they were doing it. They were already spending money on a marketing plan. He told everybody, but he didn't know who they were marketing, didn't know where they were marketing. It's just things like that that we're trying to make sure, because we don't give them, and a lot of the money is awarded, but never paid out because they can't come up with the data.
Yeah.
We just want it to be successful,
Sure.
and then we still offer, plugging them into our marketing and advertising.
Okay.
So that's the promotional side of lodger's tax, and then if we flip the page, we'll go to the non-promotional. And the first amount that's budgeted is the bus service. You know how we have them matched to ZIA
Yes.
Trans, and we're usually a year in advance because of the application. And then, of course, the software maintenance for MuniRevs, where the short-term rentals pays their lodger's tax at $57,512. And then, of course, the projects and construction, Matt went over those a little while ago. It's the decorations and the Two Rivers Park playground and the other stuff, so. And we did transfer out $625,000 for the events for next year. And that's what you'll see coming on the next page. The Special Events Fund, number 215. You'll see the transfer coming in. And right now, we just have all the monies in the special events. And once they get the lineup for next year, then we'll break it out to wherever it needs to go.
I saw 115 for the transfer.
An MFA loan to.
Oh, so this is the convention center loan. It was for the remodel of the building, and we have, let me double check, the last payment is in, convention center, the last payment is May 1st of 2029.
What is Deb?
What is what?
Transfer to
Loan debt.
intermediate loan debt.
Let-
Oh, debt. The T
Yeah,
is
it just,
Loan debt.
Truncated.
truncated it, yeah.
I'm starting to lose the love for the bus service.
Well, they're like everybody else, but I did hear distressing news that the people that quit him went to work for less money per hour at Ruidoso Shuttle because Joe was too hard to work for, bad work for. So we might need to have that. I know they're an independent business, but if you're right, then I pose the question, if not them, then
What? Yeah.
you know, I'm looking for a job after this mayor gig. Maybe we get our own shuttle service.
Shuttle service to the concession stand at the lake.
I'm thinking about applying for this, tourism job.
Yeah. That's
Okay, remember, I'm going to work for you.
Oh, that's good with me. Yeah, you got a job to finish first before you retire. It's over at my house.
He already told me he has got to go to Tracy's house.
Yeah.
Someday,
But she's getting ready to try to do it and it's, I don't want to do that.
don't let her do it.
I know. Okay,
Any other questions?
No.
Okay.
any serious questions?
So on luggage tax, can they spend money on events that are outside of the municipal boundaries?
No.
I know that they were awarded.
Well,
I have never seen anything in state statute. Now, it might have been a recommendation from the committee.
well, you know, the
Yeah.
county spent 20 grand with us because of us. We market to the whole county and then the Ruidoso Adventure Tours and all that are including Carrizozo, White Oaks and all that other stuff. So that's a little different animal. I don't know.
Well, it's the question because I know that a couple of years ago that there was in its local Ruidoso Downs racetrack, $10,000 awarded to a couple events out there. So I just wondered.
Well, we do stuff to the motorcycle. Anything that's, I think it comes in our jurisdiction where they're heads and beds.
Okay.
Because that motorcycle rallies for years.
Right. Even when they moved out to the.
And then we cut them back.
Yeah. But because they were still bringing people into
Mhm.
the town.
Okay,
Yep.
anything else?
We'll move on to court.
Municipal court. Judge.
Special events, you got
Yeah,
it?
we,
I've heard of that.
Special events?
Oh, I did that one?
Oh, you already did that one?
That was just a lump sum for next year's events,
Yeah,
this is
625. As we get closer and know the exact budgets,
It's a good
then we'll
laugh.
split it up.
Okay.
Wonderful life. That's
Municipal court, yay, are they the last one of the day?
Yes.
You.
This will be,
See how long?
3 FTs.
Yeah, let's do it.
We can get them.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Council, for letting us come before you here today, and have to thank Judy and Annette for preparing the budget. Judy tweaked some numbers and the salaries and that area, and then Annette tweaked a few in the supplies and services and things that are required that we have, and not a lot changed. Our costs are pretty much fixed in the court. We don't have a lot of variable numbers in here, so with that, it's in front of you here. If you have any questions, I think hopefully we all three can adequately answer them.
Well, you didn't change much of anything.
No,
Salaries went up, but that's understandable. But then you have overtime salaries, 10,750, which you haven't had in the last few years.
I'll refer to Judy on that.
The second line item?
It was in there, so I didn't know if they needed it or not. But I put it in. If they don't need it, we can take it out.
You guys are gonna do night
That's
court?
what we were assuming. We didn't
Take it
ask.
out.
That's like,
Maybe not.
I don't think we get overtime anyway, so.
Okay, so we'll take it out.
and so, when we raise salaries, the salaries also, the court gets,
Yes.
Yep. And doesn't this include, that we had made a change to the way the judge gets paid? Or
We
was
had
that
made
previous
that
year?
last year.
That was last year? Okay.
yeah.
And I don't think there's any new changes this year. I didn't see any changes.
Well, it went from, I'm just looking, it went from 133 to 151, so.
Yeah.
There are some things going to happen in the court in the future that we've tried to make everyone aware of, and Judy's aware of them. And fortunately, our court is not based on, we're not a revenue-based court, thank goodness, because those that are, correction fee's going to go over and be, that $20 fee that's charged there is going to go over, and DFA is going to administer that and pay straight to the court.
Never see that again.
JEC is going to go straight to the state treasurer, and AOC will provide our training in the future. The automation fee, the $6, will go to the state treasurer, and AOC will do whatever they want to do with whatever court has whatever kind of request. And the kicker in House Bill 139 was, and I don't think the legislators understood this bill thoroughly, because they put in for a penalty assessment fees, the penalty assessment fees to be, they're going to go into the general fund also, state treasury. And there's also a little end of the clause in that bill, and I have it here, I brought it today, if we need to talk. Probably don't need to talk about it. They talk about backfill. I don't know if you hear that too much in the legislature, but what if they put a 30-day clause in a bill, and then they tell you that there is a part of that bill that's going to backfill, that can backfill into this fiscal year. So they're kind of sneaky at that, but these courts like Roswell, Tatum, Ruidoso Downs, that are revenue-generated courts, like on traffic citations and whatever they're doing and whatever they're charging, Capitan, it could really hurt these courts a lot, because if the city council doesn't support them totally out of the general fund, it depends on any of that revenue for that, it could really hurt them. And so we don't know. Our Judges Association meeting is next week, our annual conference, and I represent District 12 for the municipal courts on that board. And one of the things that the Supreme Court has initiated is a remote and hybrid hearing plan. And knowing that they were going to do that, in talking to Judy, she applied for us a grant. It's called the Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Fund Phase 4. There was some money in there, and she talked to them, so we worked up the estimates on the new court facility down there, on our sound system and TVs, monitors, computers, phones, copy machines, things like that. And we came up with a $15,000 number on that, so that's what we applied for. And I don't think you've heard anything, have you? So hopefully, unless they play politics on us in New Mexico, well, hopefully we could get that. It's going to be a requirement anyway, because they, here's another thing that they just put out after this legislative year this year, was the remote and hybrid hearing plan. They want the defendant to be assured that they are heard and correctly at all times. And if we do hybrid and remote, which we do, we've been doing them. We do with CARES also, with the Lincoln County jail facility over there. There may be an attorney somewhere else. There may be an attorney here with the defendant or over there in CARES also, that. But you have to be able to cover all that. And ironically, doing that on Google, the way we've been doing it, we've been able to cover that really good. But we received our, we were looking around for quotes, and we found a court design company in Dallas that designs these systems around that, knowing that we're gonna move down there, knowing that they're gonna force us to do this. So our system, our new system is all designed around that. But it's working pretty good here at City Hall. You know, y'all have probably seen us scamper from, and we appreciate what the mayor and council and everybody here in City Hall, and just, I can't thank everybody enough. I can't thank all of the departments that have responded to us since we left the old facility over there. It's been incredible. I mean, seemed like on a monthly basis, somebody is helping us, and we really, really appreciate that.
So do people come in to see you, Frank? Frank,
Yeah.
do people come in? It doesn't have to always be Zoom?
No, we can do in person and we can do hybrid. Now, we're not doing in person still because of the security, reasons. And when you go look at the new district court tomorrow, you're gonna see security like you've never seen in your life. Well, when you see our court and you see the new police facilities and the dispatch, we're locked down. I mean, literally and they're locked down there, but because that's under these new guidelines sent down by the Supreme Court. And if you look at these things and you look at, you know, they send out from the Supreme Court justice an order. And they're not joking when they send one of these out. And they're doing this to all of municipalities. So our board is coming up, we've incorporated all 81 courts and throwing that together and going to present them one plan through Municipal League. And we're trying to get them to do court clerk training. They haven't done court clerk training now in, 5 years or something?
About 3 years.
3 years?
COVID,
But it's been a
we have it
long
in our
time.
line item just in case, but just to let you know, it's the judge's discretion to have in-person hearings, and we have had one. But they're really, with this new thing, they're really wanting to do Zoom, Google Meets.
I was just wondering if I get a ticket and I want to come to the judge, do I have to go through Zoom?
Yeah, you can request it, and that's why they're saying hybrid or in person or whatever.
Yeah.
We've done them right here in this room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've had trials back there in the,
Executive.
in your executive room back there, and it all works good here. It works pretty good. Now, I am deafer than a doornail, as you know, and I barely can hear, you know, from here to here. So our system that we designed will literally be, if you have to have in-ear facilities to hear, that's real important in
Yeah,
all of these
sure.
meetings, and that's something I think we need to think about in all of our facilities, because it's gonna get down to that, not just the Supreme Court, they're just gonna require, you know, that you do it, so.
Yeah.
ADA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I go, for instance, to Albuquerque, this conference, I have a special request in there to set up front where their TVs are, because they don't even meet their own ADA requirements.
Of course.
They don't.
You know, JEC doesn't, so anyway, we'll see how this all washes out, but
Yeah.
we're all aware, finance, Judy, Annette, everybody, we've really stayed on this to, try to stay up to date on what is coming down the pike in the future. We're really excited about the new facilities down there. Boy, it is really nice. Our new court facilities are great.
Are we gonna be able to move, like, the police station and the courts, I mean, before we get everything done, or are we gonna?
No, they're gonna have to it's phase 2, right, is what we're calling it. And it's gonna all have to be done and finished for security, parking, everything at the same time, so.
Yeah.
When
when
is that?
Well, phase 2's gone out for
We
finals.
should be getting, numbers within the next.
We haven't even started phase
We haven't approved.
Well, we haven't approved it, we're waiting on,
The design was finalized and we're waiting, White Sands, they've bid it out, so waiting on bids.
I mean, we've gone through the, I thought we approved the design.
We talked about the design, we kicked it back to the PD to do some of the office stuff, and then we haven't seen anything really since, I don't believe.
That's all been approved, that meeting we had in the executive conference room with Zeke and John and their architects probably 2 months ago. And then at that time, they went forward with putting it out for bid, so we're just waiting for.
Where we made the adjustments on the things that you'd requested before.
So then once they get that, then it'll come back, and I don't know, we're probably still 60 days out. I talked to Zeke a little while back, and he said we're about 60 days out. We're getting-
Oh, so even after that, 60 days, so
And then
by the
once
end
we
of the
get
summer?
Yeah, and then once we get the numbers, then at that point, we'll have to
Find money.
find money
Oh, yeah.
and figure out what it's gonna,
It's gonna be a,
Demo of the shop building, is that in phase 2, or is that gonna be handled separately?
Mayor Crawford, Councilor Coughlin, I actually, had the company doing the asbestos survey. They were here yesterday.
I saw them on the roof.
And once I receive the report, we'll get the asbestos done. We're gonna do that separately, and we'll have to do the demo of that old shop building.
It will be separate
It'd
from
be
phase
separate. It
2.
wasn't in the phase 2.
We're taking the security really serious because if you watch what's going on anywhere in America and you see how many has happened already, and you know, everything's going from them walking up, shooting a window out and whatever, releasing their door. Well, we're gonna be under the cover of the PD there, but the PD's gonna be the one watching that whole security plan, so that's why that's one of the reasons we would not move into that facility till that's all
Till it's
done.
done.
Because it doesn't do any good if you have one door propped open, if you have one window open, doesn't matter.
So Consolidated Dispatch, are they gonna move in before?
They can go
they
in.
can go in before, because they're their own entity.
I guess
But
maybe
before
that's
these
what-
guys, no, it's all
Before
got to
it
be
can?
buttoned up.
No, they want it to where it's all done through that foyer and the security and everything else, but, I mean, I guess if they put a wall up past where the bathrooms are on the east side, they would be okay.
Which they kind of have a temporary wall up there now, and move that down a little bit. Because that's what I thought was gonna happen. They were gonna wall that off, allow access to the bathrooms of the court and dispatch, and then complete the rest of the PD's area.
And also the site plan, I mean, once it rains, it's just like it's so muddy and it's like clay there. We need to make sure all that is taken care
Because
of.
you gotta figure out the parking lot also.
Yeah.
The street's getting ready to happen next month.
Yeah, we're looking at,
Culverts and widening the street.
and we're trying to find a contractor. We can't
Yeah,
even find a
that's ours.
contractor to put the culvert in for us.
Yep.
So we're trying to find somebody.
That's why you, a backhoe, and we
Yeah,
can take care
can
of
you
that
do
too.
that, Mayor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
got
I
a
can do
backhoe.
it. May not be right, but it'll get done.
He'll get over and dig a ditch.
The one,
And that's what I was talking about with the other company. We're having a hard time. In fact, we ran into somebody at lunch one day and I said, hey, don't you still have heavy equipment, backhoes? He goes, yeah. I said, you're not registered with the village? He goes, no. So we got him registered, so he's busy on his own, but I told him we needed help.
one thing I'm proud of is I think the village, you know, maybe sometimes, hopefully we get enough credit out there that the way we do things. I mean, talking about the village as a whole, but, our court doesn't appear as institutional as the district court does. When you see the district court, it's like, you know, it's kind of like, am I in court or am I in jail? You know,
Yeah.
here, it's like a serious deal in there, kind of. Ours has a more subtle setting to it, you know, when the people come in, you're
Well,
still.
theoretically, it's a magistrate court. And then the district judge is gonna use it too. He's talking about using it more and more.
They have both. They have two courts in there.
But the name says magistrate court,
Yeah, yeah.
so. Judge, do you anticipate at a point in time when you do finally get moved into that location that, you won't be having prisoner transports from Carrizozo anymore? Everything will be done electronically?
You know, we don't, that's something under this hybrid thing that's happened that, I know I read in sometimes on the law where there are a lot of transports that goes on, but not so much in court anymore because with this hybrid training or this hybrid, facilities that you're able to do, you keep them right there, so you're not out that expense. I don't know, the chief may have some input on that. Annette is really good at, I mean, she's not really good, she's excellent at, if there's people in if you look in our budget and we're budgeted for correction fees, 20,000, we spent 500 and some odd dollars this year. This is thanks to her.
So you mean when we're incarcerating them, I thought we had to pay for that?
We do, well, what we do, there's a little trick to that. You catch them on somebody else's dollar.
Yeah.
We have one right now, today, and we have them all the time, a lot. We catch them on somebody else's dollar and they're
Like, what do you
sitting there.
mean?
They have another warrant, say
They have another warrant.
magistrate warrant or
So you
district
catch them,
warrant.
you catch them when they're in there and we have a warrant. And there's a lot of people have 3 warrants. There could be 3 warrants floating out there. So we catch them on that. We give them time served, doesn't cost us any money.
Sweet,
But we
that's,
have, it comes out of our corrections fund.
Yeah.
Which, the police department is in charge of that. So the $20 we collect for corrections, it goes into that fund. So if the judge does have somebody
Yeah.
incarcerated, it comes out of that fund.
so we still collect that $20, but no for
Right
tickets.
now, but they're
Yeah.
gonna be changing.
They're gonna do
that.
away with that too.
Yeah, that's
All of
going
our-
away.
All of our fees are gonna be gone.
Your
That's going
government at
away.
work.
Yeah.
And they're looking at the
Yeah.
fines, so it's gonna be.
Are they gonna be up, go up?
No, they're talking about getting rid of
away.
Go away.
They're gonna take them over by the state and they will pay if we
So why
incarcerate
arrest
somebody.
anybody?
Nice.
With that
Why
money.
arrest
they'll-
anybody?
Yeah.
Right. But, like the judge was saying, when you were talking about, are we gonna transport, I've talked to LCDC, if they don't, we're gonna be using more, audio visual, Zoom,
Right.
Google Meets, and we can work with, somebody who's incarcerated, so they don't have to transport, because it's less people over there at the jail.
Right.
And so we can get it done that way, so.
Yeah.
Well, and part of the reason for asking that is we haven't built the Sally Port out back yet, for the prisoner drop-off. Maybe we can remove that out of the project if we're not gonna be bringing prisoners over for hearings anymore and just do it all virtually. Because I'm sure the sheriff's department would love it. They don't have to load people up and bring them over and sit with them and then haul them back.
But you still have people you bring in the police department, you're booking.
That's separate.
That's different.
Yeah.
Typically to Carrizozo.
Yeah.
The last person that I can remember, was, probably 4 years ago, maybe even longer, that we transported from Lincoln County Detention Center to the courts.
Well, I'm talking about you arrest somebody.
We take them.
No, you don't. You take them over to PD and you fingerprint them.
Fingerprint them.
So that's what that Sally Port's gonna be used for, is to, are you gonna take them in the back to their police
Well,
department?
the new,
Yeah.
facility there that they're gonna put on, that Sally Port, that's what we're taking out.
Yeah, so you still need the Sally Port.
But you're not gonna bring them in through the court.
Not the court area, no.
Right, there'll be a separate area behind the PD, right?
Yeah.
So we won't have to have that separate gated area for the court, that they then have to do the double gate to keep them away from the tower. And then there's gonna be another gate that opens over here to allow them in, close that gate and unload the prisoners into the back of the court where you supposed to be having a holding cell, so that won't be used anymore.
But
That's what I'm
what
saying.
if it changes and we don't have the right facility?
Then we go and put the fencing in at that point.
There is one other thing that you might be aware of in the future is, you're probably gonna have some people show up here at City Hall asking you to enter into medical, mental, some sort of a participation in that, and then also in juvenile. Same thing, because domestic violence, same thing, because what they passed this year in this legislation in 139 was in our training this next week, they're gonna really put the pressure on the judges to go into these alternative sentencing programs. They don't want people going to jail. They don't want people paying fines and fees. And they want you to be able to talk to them, make sure you hear them and all that, and put them, we can actually send them an alternative sentencing. I could send one, tell them, okay, if you agree to go to college, to school, that's a form of alternative sentencing.
We gotta pay for that?
No, they have to pay for it, but if they don't show up to do it, then
Then what do you do?
Yeah, who is monitoring all
They
of
have
those?
violated their conditions of deferment, So you can either go issue another warrant, go out for them and have them handcuffed and taken over to the school.
Spend more money to not collect more
Oh,
money
yeah.
to,
And this is where courts like Roswell and these people, Roswell has 11 positions over there. They do the same thing that we do. They have probation officers, they have all of these people, my gosh, we went over and trained with them, and they have all these people that take care of this. It's literally gonna,
bankrupt them. I mean,
well,
it's
yeah,
costing them a
because
fortune.
if you think about it, they're making you sentence these people, or wanting you to, and alternative sentence. Now, another thing is community service. They're really putting the pressure on us to do community service, and we've
You
asked.
gotta pay somebody to watch them.
Well, we've asked to act because there's a lot of other communities are doing it, but that's another thing. We have
Half-ass paint's what you get.
community service, if they're not, there's a realm of, in a community, you have your community and you have your criminal aspect. And what I call the good and bad. And the criminal aspect of it over here, there's a certain thing, and I'm sure the chief's been in this a lot longer than I have, but they're just here, they're in every community, they're all over the United States. So it happens, it keeps happening. And if they're gonna get fines and they're gonna get domestic violence and all this is gonna happen, keeps happening. And the thing about it is, they really never straighten up, and if you try to send them off to, oh, yeah, well, you're gonna go out and mow grass, or you're gonna do this, or, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they don't show up. And in Roswell, that's why under their alternative sentencing program, you literally are babysitting those people, so they can work this out and don't have to pay. So,
And they have no data anywhere, these AOC, that this even works anywhere.
yeah, well, we're gonna be dealing with a CFYD, who we've all seen on TV how that works.
Oh,
for the
yeah.
juvies. And then AOC, from what I can figure out, the judges, they can't even get a return phone call from one up there.
And I'm worried that if I don't get my jury summons in on time.
That's nothing.
So I don't know, it's gonna be
I got
something,
it in, but I mean, it's just
it's
like,
gonna be something we get to deal with.
there's just a difference. You said that one and then the criminal element. And we're putting more people in that category every day because there's no fear, there's no repercussions, there's just nothing anymore.
Well, I've thought about Albuquerque, we read and hear about what's going on up there, but if under 139 that was passed, I'm just sitting around waiting to see how that's gonna work. I mean, we know how it's working up there now. You think it's gonna work better?
No.
So if you get juveniles in, can you refer them over to JPO?
No, the juvies, and what are your question, or do we have to refer them to,
No, I'm saying, under all this alternative sentencing, can you just refer them over to JPO, juvenile probation officers, to then handle whatever is going on, and then they could be going into the juvenile justice system?
They shouldn't have
Certain-
juveniles anyway.
Certain things, they can't go into municipal
Nope.
court.
Yeah.
They automatically
Go to the
contacts
JPO.
Yep.
And sometimes we'll get a citation, it's like, nope, sorry, you have to go, they'll go through JPO.
So
automatically.
petty misdemeanors of a juvenile shoplifting doesn't come to you at all?
No, you get
Speeding ticket doesn't come to you either?
speeding tickets to do.
Speeding ticket?
Yeah.
Pretty much that, other
The
than,
only speeding ticket that they would, refer to JPO would be a DWI or reckless driving or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything else, your regular, 40 and the 30 would.
insurance registration, stuff like that will.
Yeah, we get that.
Shoplifting would go to magistrate
JPO.
or JPO? Okay. Okay.
And we don't typically do any of that issue or cite anybody into municipal court. We go straight to JPO for those types of.
Go straight to JPO, okay.
So the good rule of thumb is if it was gonna be a charge that goes to magistrate court, they go straight to JPO, and then, traffic citations is typically all we, put into municipal court.
So then they're never adjudicated
On the traffic citation?
on a shoplifting? You got a minor goes into a store and steals stuff.
Yeah, they go to JPO. We cite them into.
But it's because they're a juvenile, it's not what you're looking at adjudicated to be in the record. It goes in their record, but it stays there until they turn 18 and then goes away.
But
Or,
now even adults, I mean, I know Walmart has a rule
They don't do anything.
Yeah, it's not worth it, no.
How much?
Keep running, just keep running.
I got my eye on a new grill out there.
If you can get it out the
With
door,
that thing.
yeah, you can get it out the door, it's all yours.
I wanna know whether.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
So, y'all want to stop here and pick up in the morning?
So, I have a question. This notice of special meeting was just called for today. Do we recess?
There's another one tomorrow.
We called another one?
Yeah, there's one for tomorrow and one for, Friday.
Only went to 4 o'clock.
Special meeting?
We're on overtime.
So we'll,
Let's get her done tomorrow.
adjourn this meeting and convene tomorrow at 8 AM, and we hope to
9
see
a.m.,
you.
Wasn't it?
You're on.
Is it at 9 AM or 8 AM?
8.
8 AM, and we hope to see you, at 7 AM at the, Capra Projects meeting. This meeting's adjourned.
Can all of us come to that?
The deal tomorrow is a public deal. 7.
I know, but I didn't think
So we
all
should
of us
not leave
could
our stuff.
come.
Yeah, you,
It's,
because you're on, you're not making decisions, but more of us show up on Zoom and listen in.
well, I'm gonna come here tomorrow.
I know,
so-
but you can come, 'cause
Okay.
if you're on, you're on.
in here, right? You'll have other people sitting in here.
I know, but
They're gonna
No, we'll sit
They're gonna
here,
stop early.
and they'll come up here, and, Costello will be, or who's gonna run the meeting in the morning? Leonard will run the meeting.
okay, I just,
You
that's,
don't have to come, but,
no, I'm going to. It's been a while.
7:45, at least 7:45 anyway.
and then we're gonna run through it as best we can, but we do have some serious questions about trailers. I wanna get that going tomorrow.
Has Kylie talked to you about the trailers?
No.
Oh,
I haven't spoken to her.
she was going to. She walked through some
Well,
of them that we've
Shirley
already
Lillard
accepted.
walked
And
through
they're
those.
like